It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. I can't even get into all the stuff we're going to talk about tonight, so let's just get it started. What's up? What's up? What's up, people? It's Monday. It is March 15th, 2021. This is Dan City Tonight. I am Frank Dez, and I'm going to introduce this gentleman to you in a moment. I'm glad you guys taking the time to come out. Thank you for coming out. We are we're gonna have a little fun today because we got these guys here that they just could have phoned it in. They literally just could have phoned it in.
Are you serious?
You know, but we don't do that. We about that life. We about that coming down and you know, we guys used to drive out to all kinds of places. So
okay, you owe me money for the Uber.
The Uber, you drove out here.
I Ubered over here, man.
Oh man. So again, it's thank you guys for coming today, whoever's coming out tonight. We are gonna have a little bit of fun going over part of history. You've probably seen the pictures of the different things that I've done, but you guys haven't actually met the people. Right next to me is my man Harmony, Jay Harmony.
Yes. What's going on?
The government knows Miss John.
No, they don't know anything.
And we were members of a group called Business and Pleasure. We're waiting for one more member to come. Hopefully he can get here soon. He said his ETA was 8:10, but you know, Jersey traffic. You know, so I'm those of you that don't know, well, most of you know I'm a Jersey transplant. I'm not a Jersey transplant. I'm a New York transplant.
Yeah, New York transplant. Yeah.
T-Jersey.
Same here.
Yeah. We get on your case about that.
I know, man. I don't want to talk about it. And I'm sure when our other party comes, we're going to hear it.
Of course. But I mean, we decided to do this. We were talking about 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yes.
And we just started going over and reminiscing some stories and stuff that we have kind of been through. And we were like, you know what, it might be fun just to get together and sit and talk about how we came to be.
Oh my God. Is this an hour show? Or?
It could be a 3-hour
Let's
show.
go. Hey, I got nothing to do, man. Let's go.
You know, especially when Mom starts to go through all his little minutiae of information that, you know, we don't remember anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, because I want to save that definitely for when we have him here. John, you've been doing music all, you know, forever.
Yeah.
When you started singing, with people I know, people don't know. Yeah.
What's funny is I never knew I could sing.
Okay.
I was in I guess I want to say like 7th grade. I was an instrumentalist. I played the clarinet. You know, I was a band geek. I was a band geek. Played the clarinet, and there was one guy that was like, "Hey man, we're putting a group together. It's a talent show. Why don't you join us?" I'm like, "But you know, I don't consider myself a singer." No, I heard you sing, man. You can sing. I'm like, all right, cool. And we did a New Edition cover. I don't know how old your listeners are, but
it's all ages.
All right, cool. So it was New Editions. The song escapes you right now, but we did it. Killed it,
right.
And I was singing Ralph Tresvant's part, and I was like, "Oh damn!"
How old?
It was "Count Me Out."
Okay, all right, cool.
We're like, "You gotta count me." We had the dance steps and everything. It was cool. So I was performing with a guy named Darren Douglas, which of course you remember Darren. He ended up he went far. He was singing with a group called Motif. He had a record deal. We were in this video, which was real weird. It's one of those videos where. There I go. So, but then it flash forwarded to high school. Okay. I went to a performing arts high school of the Bronx, Adlai Stevenson High School. Stevenson, anybody out there from Stevenson? What's up?
Shout out
to Stevenson. Let's go. And joined the band.
Okay.
You know, so I was a band geek again. And the way the high school was situated, the music department had one whole wing.
Okay.
So one classroom was band, the other classroom was chorus, and I was always hanging out in the hallway, singing with the chorus people.
But the acoustics was good.
Yeah, I was singing with the. So it took my band teacher to come out and be like, you're late for class again. Why don't you just go to chorus? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. He kicked you out. And that was it. He kicked me out, and I went into chorus, and that was it, man. And just singing. Me and Darren was singing for a while until he branched off and went to his group. And fast forward to when I graduated high school, I was always writing and doing shows on my own. And when Miles comes in, we'll talk about how we connected.
That was a whole craziness. It's funny because I was wondering if there's one more member of the group that you probably won't hear from tonight, unless by some miracle he happens to call in.
I tagged him. I posted this on Facebook, and I definitely tagged him on it. So
we'll see.
Let's see if
I'm gonna put a number up. I have a number that you can call in, and we can bring anybody into the phone. The conversation. So like if you look at it, it's flashing. So you can call it at 732-955-4931. That number again, in case you missed it, 732-955-4931. Anybody can call in, and we'll get you on the air. It might be something. Maybe you saw us, at one point during the shows that we did.
Yeah, that would be awesome if somebody calls in.
Yeah, right. It would be actually somebody remembers.
Yeah, right. Sweetwaters, I was there right before the shootout.
So we'll flash that number again, but there it is. But it's crazy, man. I mean, I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you since.
It's been over 20 years, bro.
It's gotta be. I know. When we did that when my boy Eddie did the show at Downtime. That was like the last time that I saw you.
Wow, that was about 20 years.
About 20 years. Yeah,
probably a little more than that.
That's crazy, man. I mean, it's. Oh, hold on.
Is that Miles buzzing in?
Hello? Hello? Yo. Yes, sir.
How you gonna ask if you're at someone's house, bro?
Well, you're on the air right now. That's where you are, I think. So, but you are. I'm gonna have somebody come out right now. It's a white picket fence.
Look, how apropos.
You see a white picket fence? Yeah, it's a white picket fence in a 2-car garage.
And no lights at all outside.
We're going to come out. Well, one of us is. All right, John. You're going to have to go out there.
I got to go get him?
Show him where it is.
All right.
Because I can't leave.
You can leave. I'll hold this down.
This done. I got to hold it.
All right. We'll be right back.
Now, this is funny. This is live. You can't
make this up.
Can't make it up. We good. I'm gonna show you right now. John's coming out there. There you go. White picket fence. It should be a gray Nissan in there, and it's a 2-car garage. And you can drive right up on the driveway. Yeah, come on right in the driveway. John should be coming out the door. But this is mad funny. Bye. Oh my God. Very, very hysterical right now. That's mad funny. So yes, these are the kinds of things that, kinds of conversations and interactions that we put on quite often between us when we were in our heyday, as you may want to say. This was back in 92, 93, when the group got together. And it's something how you kind of pick up on the craziness from where you left off, because that's just the way it is. And I don't think I've ever had an introduction to a show like this. This is a first. This is one for the archives. And it'll definitely be going down in history. At the Density Tonight Show, episode 13. Episode Lucky 13, maybe you can't, whatever can happen will happen. And I believe he's coming in right now because he's saying what's up to my wife and everybody. You gotta remember, we haven't seen each other in 20 years. And these are guys that used to, before I was married, they were around, me and my wife, and I got kids, and we all got kids. It's crazy right now. And this is the kind of thing that I was hoping for. That would be just something spontaneous and fun, and unpredictable, and it's been all that right now, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be, even more sillier for the next 20 minutes or so. But we're going to try to get them downstairs while we they're doing their greetings. So I don't want to slow anybody up. People haven't seen each other for a while. Hopefully they'll come downstairs in the next couple of minutes so I can actually continue with this show. Once again, it's Den City tonight. I got a few people that are probably like, what the hell is going on right now? As far as the comments concerned, let me see. Oh my God, I didn't even know that. I'm just looking at the comments right now. Sheila, what's up? Oh my goodness. Yo, this is crazy. Hey, Alex, I'm wearing the Astros jersey because it's retro and it's nice.
I got words for him.
Oh my goodness, I can't. Yo, while we sitting here, I didn't have the comments on, right? I didn't have Marlo. Oh, what's up? Come on, have a seat, brother.
Come on, squeeze in, bro.
Can
you get in here?
Yeah, you good. You slow.
Yo, we live?
We live.
We live, bro.
Or is it Memorex? Did I just date myself?
I already dated myself, bro.
While we'll get a hug later on.
When you come on time, you get to hug it out.
But while we were sitting here, I didn't have the comments on it, and Sheila just said, "What's up?"
Oh, Sheila! I see her.
We're gonna talk about you in a minute.
We're gonna really talk about y'all.
We're gonna talk about you in a minute.
Sheila!
Yeah,
She retweeted what I tweeted out today. She saw it.
Oh yeah?
But I was putting all the wrong information and shit, talking about Instagram.
We jacked that all up. I jacked it up too.
Oh
man, put them headphones on, Miles.
Right.
We're going.
So you get the K240s.
Okay.
Oh.
Let me know how it sounds. You good? You got me?
Yeah, I'm good, Mr. Engineer. Oh, you got the Roadcaster?
Yeah, I got the Roadcaster.
Go your best self, man.
Talking about technical crap.
Got the Roadcaster.
You missed it. He's like, yo, just the mic. I'm like,
phone calls. All right, I see you.
Trying to do something positive. It's fun. This man, these guys, I haven't seen these guys in fucking years. There's gonna, I know I usually it's gonna be cursing all kinds.
Oh, we can curse?
Yeah, man, it's just gonna happen.
Yes, let's go.
Nah, we gotta be like Heavy D. Don't curse, right?
We gotta keep it real, man. But there's a couple of things we don't need to say.
Yeah. He already clear, like, all right, everything's off the table. So he gave me the little, PSA announcement. So,
ladies and gentlemen, again, right now we got the original members of our R&B group, called Business and Pleasure. We're missing one.
3/4 of it.
Well, we'll see if he contacts us, during the night. But
you sent something out to him?
I tagged him
I
on.
did see that.
We'll see if we go. So what's up, Peter? What's going on? We're gonna get to Peter too, because he's part of this story. He right
Peter,
there.
oh, Peter Wayne.
Peter
Wayne he's doing some big things. Yeah, Peter Wayne took your spot.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna get to that too. Matter of fact, say that phone number again so we can get Pete on the line.
Yo.
We're going to take calls in a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit first, but when you're ready, Pete, you can call us in at 732-955-4931, 732-955-4931.
I'm going to just say this, like where my man Des lives, he ain't never got to worry about people dropping by. Ain't nobody dropping by.
Right?
I don't know if anybody heard the phone call. It's like, am I at your house?
I'm not even sure. I think I had it on mute.
Yeah, that's because, there were people of other persuasions peeping out their window. I'm blasting WBLS and all that. And they're like, who's this person? I knew it was a problem video the next door.
It's another Karen video.
There goes the neighborhood.
But they've been pretty good. Y'all might have
until
that's all right.
Yeah, until now, you didn't even understand. Snow Allegra was playing on the radio.
I love Snow Allegra, yo.
I had it blasted. Then after that, freaking Keith Sweat Make It Last. I was like, listening to Lenny Green, The Quiet Storm. They're like,
missing your turns.
They're like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, I didn't know where the hell I was at. I drove right by. Just a house on the left. I was like, I just kept going.
Yeah, and it's the way it is. It's on the corner. So if you make
keep
that
going,
turn,
it goes 123. Once I was like, yo,
and there's no lights in the front of the house.
but it just went out. But even more so, there's no
ain't
number.
pay that bill.
There's no number. I heard you.
What is that? What is that?
So he ain't pay that front door light bill.
All
the other lights
went
are
into
on.
all this.
Right. Into the road.
This mic should have been the lights.
This is old. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
But the number on the front is no number. It says the word 11. All right, I should be.
So if you can't, so you can't
the crazy
read.
thing is that it's
Throw
dark.
out your address so people know. His address is.
No, right? But like, I just realized I'm saying, I'm like,
You know, 11 is fine. It's the rest that goes along with it.
Man, how you guys doing, man?
I'm good, man.
I'm tired, B, but I'm good. This is good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I ain't seen like this collectively together.
Yeah, it's been.
And then to see like Sheila and Peter Wayne like pop up, it's like,
Yeah,
the only person missing really is, Shay
Jazz.
I don't know if you listen.
I was gonna radio in, but I'm like, I can't. I gotta come in.
Yo, so here's the crazy part was that, part of me, I was like, yo, I'm gonna bring that bottle of Moet.
I thought you were gonna bring it.
But I knew Shay Jazz wasn't gonna be
right,
here.
right.
So it had to be the 4, you know what I mean? Even though,
Wait, but were you still with us with the Moet?
Yeah, his name is on it.
All right. I was gonna say, does he get us?
His name is on it, yeah. It was like, what, 92, I think that bottle was?
Yeah, that was like right after the.
When music was good?
Show, right?
Nah, it was
No, I said
I think it was after the South
Oxford Tennis Club.
Where he got found out he was allergic to shrimp.
Yeah, let's get into that real quick.
Nah, wait. Even before we
I remember that one because
we're gonna go back a little bit. We're gonna go back a little bit. I got a couple of pictures here. That I want.
Oh man,
to
see.
Yeah.
Here we go. I want to know what these pictures mean to everybody. We see this picture here.
Oh, yo.
This is.
No, you gotta go
we don't.
back.
That's the one I
We gotta
posted.
go back.
Yo. That picture means a lot, though, yo.
That is the Sauvage.
That's what that. Yes, that is the Sauvage.
But you know what that picture means a lot because Joe, that was when we kind of had like we started to get a concept of what business and pleasure meant.
Yeah.
And then because before, come on, remember we wore overalls and button down ties with a.
Well, this was. I mean, okay. I gotta ask you to clear something up. Did we do this club twice, or did we do? Because I know we sang with Rob.
We did it with Rob, and then I don't know. I think then we did it, but we did it with Rob.
Right.
Was this the second show after Rob was like,
No, you wasn't. You wasn't down.
No, I'm saying the first time you did
That's what I'm saying. We
Sauvage
did the Sauvage one time
with Rob.
And then this is
and then we did it with Rob again. Right.
Yeah, because he was kind of like still contemplating. Remember Rob? Because we was like, yo, this is actually working. Why don't we just become a group?
Yeah, and it's funny because he might be watching because he
hope he is. I don't like you. I said it.
He checked it out earlier. He was like,
I said Rob.
Yeah, Rob Douglas. Yeah, because I saw it. He was like, he accepted my invitation to Dance City. So we'll see. He might leave a comment. We'll see.
And I'm kidding, man. It's been 30 years, man. I ain't mad at you no more.
He ain't like you.
Things popped off. You know what I mean? I don't hold a grudge.
You.
I don't hold grudges like that no more.
But that's really part of like that's really part of like the beginning of the story on like how we all like came together and got together.
Yeah, we were going out shopping for them
shopping.
No, for those we brought. Those we brought.
No, wait, shopping.
The jacket.
You feel me, right?
The jacket.
Shopping, you say?
Shopping.
Where did we shop
We
for
went
those?
shopping, all right.
First of all,
wait. What?
Make sure the statute of limitations.
They're not even in business no more.
No.
This is true, but those jackets we brought.
I think we did buy.
We brought them from
that's why
down the village.
But that's why that means so much to me because we all had like the different colors or whatever.
Right.
Because didn't we wear those jackets when we went to Connecticut and we had the tie-dye shirts?
We had the tie-dye shirts.
So we did. You got everything else we took back.
I think.
All the other outfits we took back, so we had all those again. That means we bought. No, we bought those.
I didn't take them.
Yeah, we didn't take
the purple jackets.
Purple jackets.
I kept my purple jacket.
Yeah,
we all had the purple jacket. Yeah,
the Lord joints.
Those were donated to us by
Nelson Brand Outlets. and beyond.
Oh man! All right, so let's move on a little bit. All right. And I was
that's crazy.
I know it definitely is.
Damn, I was yellow.
Yeah.
So this picture gets a lot of play because this is one of the ones that we just had.
And those are the tie-dye shirts.
But
No, that's not
nah.
the tie-dye.
That's Shay, huh?
That's Shaggy's shirt.
Oh, that's just Shake. That's how I just
He
dressed.
was corny.
Yo, he's Shay, you on fun? You want to
Yo, that picture right there means a lot too because that was the producer Mark Elliott Giles.
Yes.
Out in the Bronx, and I think
Okay, it wasn't the Bronx.
it was in the Bronx. Yeah,
And actually, he was the first, I think, remind me, correct me if I'm wrong, was the first person that we dealt with that actually gave us a contract.
No, he didn't give us a contract at all.
Wasn't he trying to be like, yo, I paid the lights?
Yeah, no.
Oh, he was trying to charge us.
Yeah,
He was charging us for the
but it
time.
wasn't even about charging. The reason why we went to him, if y'all remember correctly, was because the girl Annette in my building, and then the dude who played, that was Shimei.
Mhm.
So we were recording the gospel song
Mm.
at his crib, which if we listen back to it today,
Oh, that's right, Shanae.
we sounded absolutely horrible.
Did we?
Like, oh my goodness, bro, we had no soul whatsoever. It was
We were doing
it
the
was called
gospel
I Want
song.
Ass.
Oh,
Remember it
yeah.
was called I Want Ass.
Oh, that's what.
You remember that? It was like I Want Ass or whatever. And Shanae was
Oh, God.
she was
Camille
killing
Shemazel.
it.
Yeah.
She was killing it. We were like,
Yeah, I would never.
And we sounded like in sync.
and I think I still might have that cassette somewhere lying around.
My man said cassette.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's
I got-
what we was doing.
I got all the
baby.
cassettes,
I still
too.
got cassettes too.
I just don't have nothing to play it on.
But that was actually real good because that actually led to us like going up to gym night up in Connecticut because he was the one that told us. Remember that girl that he had there that was a rapper, the female, I forget her name, Malika or something like that. Oh,
There's gym night.
Snap, there's gym night.
That's gym night. That is
Gym
That
night.
is the and I hate the fact that I have that shirt on.
Yo,
That is like
that
the
is
beach,
gym
the
night.
beach
Yep.
bum.
And I think we were a little drunk.
Yo, that's gym night. Yo, I'm tripping. That's my homie Michelle Powell, the one in the middle with the brown. I
Okay.
don't know who the other girl is, but
Wow.
yeah, gym night for y'all who's like, yo, what's gym night? Yo, it's crazy because once we did that, I swear I was trying to figure out how we could do that in New York,
Right.
and I was like, yo, we can never do that in New York because we got Brooklyn.
Yeah, oh yeah.
like back then,
that would have been shut down.
The late '80s, early '90s, right?
Yeah.
But Gym Night was this dude, and it's funny, he's still popping. James Lewis, Woo Bear Productions. He got a radio show in Springfield, and I found out later that it was his thing. I was like,
Okay.
"You did Gym Night?" I was like, "Bro, we used to drive from New York just to come to that." We drove to New. Was this the time when John
With the no brakes?
No, with the brakes?
When we had to
Yeah. Oh, yeah, on 110th Street, 110th for like Columbus.
I know people are listening going, wait, they're jumping around. Like what?
Okay.
Cars, brakes, what?
We this particular picture that you're seeing is
It's in Connecticut, Enfield, Connecticut.
Enfield. Yeah.
And what they did was they rented out a gymnasium.
Gold's Gym.
It was just a gym. It wasn't Gold's. It was like a.
No, it was Gold's.
It wasn't Gold's because Gold's that was a franchise. This was just a regular gym.
And they had everything.
And it had basketball courts. It
Squash
had
courts.
squash courts, pool, volleyball, a pool, everything, lift weights, and the whole concept was it was a DJ. They had a bar, and then you could go basically and work out. You work out, and then after you finish work out, you go to the locker room, take a shower because it's a gym, and then you come out, you get dressed, and then you can come out and chill, yo.
And all the colleges from the area were in that
we
place.
had to get out there, but the vehicle that we were trying to work with had bad brakes or no
Yeah.
brakes.
Well, what happened
Yeah.
was, and no license plate.
Yo, let me get it.
Yo, if Chameleonaire's listening, we were riding dirty way before he made the song.
Yo, this is a crazy story because we were like, yo, we got to get to gym night. On our way to gym night, John had this car and the brake pad fell off. Then this dude goes and picks it up.
Here it is.
Burns his hand.
Stuck to my fingers.
But then, and at the time, yo, as a group, it's funny. Like we're talking about everything except for like being in a group. But at the time, we decided that we were going to give $10 a week. So I had the group dues money on us, and we was like, yo, we could take the group Deuce money and buy new brakes for John's car so we could go to gym night.
And we found these dudes,
110th Street
10th Street,
and like Columbus.
Yep, Dominican cats.
And they did it for like $50 or something like
Yeah.
that.
And we was out.
And then boom. But then later, of course, what John is talking about is, he had a car and he had a temporary plate in the back, right? But later we found out that the temporary plate, because this is how he rolled, the temporary plate was a photocopy of somebody else.
Master
Like it didn't even exist. And it was uninsured. So we're driving in a uninsured, cross state lines, damn near in Massachusetts.
How we didn't get stopped?
A car that could have broke down at any time.
4 dudes. And
it was an 81 Honda Accord.
Yo,
I paid $400 for that car.
And it took us there.
And it got us there, and we had a great night. Matter of fact, my front seat wasn't even bolted. I had zip ties that actually held the seat down. So if I hit the brakes too much and it snapped, I was rocking back and forth in the driver's seat.
We gonna.
Yeah, and the dude in the back with the eye, when you go back to the dude in the back, that was Shake.
That was
the one
Shake.
that's looking over the top
With the crazy eyes.
with the crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah,
that's Shagan.
Shagan and I go back a little bit further because
Can we dive into how we all even?
that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just go off through these pictures and then we're gonna
All right.
we're gonna go through that. Well, in fact, you know what? Let's talk about that now.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about that now. So back in the late.
Look at my son, Miles Williams, tuned in.
He's
from
on
Georgia.
it. All right.
You see it right there.
What up, Miles Jr.?
What up? Shout out.
Haven't seen you in a minute.
From Georgia. Wow.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
What you said?
I'm waiting to see if my mom pops up.
Shaking. That goes back to when we used to hang out. The way Shagan danced. Yeah, he never moved his feet. Just the
top?
shoulders. Just the top. He was rocking that all the time.
The most non-rhythmic African you ever want to meet.
Oh God. So all right, late '89. We got my boy Tony Fazell, who we'll see a picture of him later. Tony Fazell and I were kind of dabbling in trying to start a group. We met up with Shagan David, and we started this group called Collage. And we couldn't use that name because there was already a group called Collage. And through trials and tribulations, we started working with, at one time we were working with Vernon Stewart, who was part of the Invisible Man's band. And long story short on that, Tony ended up leaving the group, and Shagan and I were just kind of figuring out what it is we wanted to do music-wise. And I ended up working at National Brand Outlets with this dude named Andre
Thompson.
And Andre and Rob Douglas, who we were referring to earlier, we all worked together and we started talking about shows and started talking about music. And I don't know exactly how you came up exactly.
Of course,
I think Andre didn't want to do the show.
He didn't want to do the show, but he said, I got somebody who just might. And then he called me up because I was in a group with Andre called For You. That picture that popped up briefly, don't put up, but that picture that popped up briefly was the second rendition of For You. So Andre called me up and was like, yo, and at the time, For You had just broken up, right? So it was kind of like Andre was like, yo, this dude, Rob Douglas, is trying to do a show and they need a background singer. Yo, you want to be it? I was like, man, because I was like fucked up. I was over the fact that For You had broken up. So I was like, yo, because I was all in it. And I was like, yo, I said, I'll come and meet with these dudes. Or, I'll do it, but I don't know if I want to be a group and none of that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll meet them and I'll see what's happening. But if they want to be a group, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So then that brought me in, right? That brought me in. So you Shagan,
and actually it was funny. My wife Vivian helped do the choreography for that show.
Wow!
I was in the bedroom trying to figure out the choreography, and Vivian's on the bed going, no, this you gotta do it, and this and this, and then so
Yeah, and it was crazy.
Shout out to Viv.
It was crazy because Rob was a very talented singer, and that when we were talking about Savage was a club down in New York, on 23rd Street that we performed at or what have you. And then after the show, we did stuff like Guys, Let's Chill.
Remember? Yeah, we did the Let's
You
Chill.
did nothing original, right?
We didn't have anything original.
You didn't have anything original.
We started off the show a kind of a jab to your old group because remember you guys used to perform Ready or Not. And part of the beginning of the whole act, we did this whole thing and ended up with, "Are you ready or not?"
Andre was like, "All right."
Oh, look at that, yo! Denise Williamson David is on.
Oh my God!
Yo,
hello, Nisi.
Yo, put Shay Jazz on, Nisi.
Yes.
Yo, we tried. Yo, he was supposed to be here. Put Shay Jazz on.
Don't let him be shy now.
You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
Keep it PC.
So we ended up getting Miles doing the show, and then at that point,
it was should we be a group?
It was a good show.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic show. Which, like I said, I didn't want to be in a group, but after that show, I was like, this is good. Yo, I'm ready to be in a group.
Yeah, once you feel that energy, it's like
once you get it, I was like, let's do this.
Let's do this.
And then Rob was like, I don't know, we'll see.
Didn't I come in Rob Douglas was going to do a show and needed somebody to do background.
He didn't want you.
And he didn't want me.
Right. And then that's how I
You heard that, right?
He didn't want you. Right? But Shay Jazz is at work.
Okay.
Yo, he lucky then. He lucky.
He gets a pass.
Yo, tell him we got a bottle of champagne from 1992 that we waiting to pop.
And we can't pop without him.
We ain't popping it without him, so just let him know. So then what happened was Shagan, who was loyal to John because they went to high school together, right?
Yeah, that was weird.
And then he was just like, Shagan was like, yo, don't worry about it. Yo, I got this dude. It was like, don't worry about it. Yo, I'm gonna call my friend John, and then we wound up in Parkchester where John used to live, and then
shout out to Parkchester. Most of the rehearsal place.
The 4 train. Oh my God, the
6 train, bro.
The 6 train. I was riding on the 6 train.
Here we go again.
That was Shay Jazz part. Tell him to see we gave him a shout out right there.
Man.
Yo, that was Shay Jazz part. Yeah, we wrote a song called "On the Down Low."
We're gonna talk about riding on the 6 train.
Yeah, and She Live, if you're still there, you're an integral part of that. On the down low. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let's go to a place where
God! See, now all these songs are popping. Now here's a good thing.
I don't even know that song.
I remember that. One day I sat down. I was like, damn, I gotta put together like all these songs.
That wasn't Let's Go. That was Win.
No, that was Let's Go. Win was a complete different song.
Win was a
Shagan song. Yeah. No, that was one of your songs that you and Shagan wrote.
It's all like this.
Okay.
So what's crazy was I sat down. I'm like, I gotta put together a playlist or just of all the songs that we've written as a group. And believe it or not, we wrote over 100 and some odd songs.
Well, y'all wrote over 100 something. We wrote like 3.
No, I went from us. I went from us all the way on, and we had. If we had really blown up the way we should have blown up, we would have had an awesome catalog.
So no. We did blow up the way that we should have blown up, which was we didn't blow up.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. So we get John. We do the other show at the Savage.
Yes. We do the Tony Terry song.
Yeah, we do.
Yes,
because we did Head Over Heels.
Right. We do that.
Which that comes into play later.
We did. Let's Chill, and then we did a part of Come and Talk to Me. Didn't we do that?
Yes, we did.
Right, did we?
Yo, you know what's ironic is that Bad Boy was on the radio on my way here.
Yeah?
Come and Talk to Me. Lenny Green was kicking it. I'm telling you. He was playing D'Angelo, Lady. Like, I was like, yo, what year is this? I'm driving back in the time.
You're driving back in the time. You're driving south back in the time.
Word.
But, so we do that, and that begins, us trying to develop us as a group. Most of the time, I think we did rehearsals at your house, but I think we did more rehearsals at your house.
It turned out
that way. It turned out like doing it that way. But then we used to come to your house too, up in the Bronx.
It was occasionally. I don't think it was as many times.
I don't remember.
We were very I don't know how a lot of other groups do it, but we were very technical. So as far as we would write out things that we want to say on stage, you know, and it was always about making it, you know, look as if it was impromptu, but stuff that we knew we were going to do. Like I knew where he was going to be, we knew what he was going to say in this part of the song. This, and that was something that you know, I've worked with other groups, and people didn't really do that. You know, I don't know if that was.
Like, there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff with us that we actually. Like, how do we want this to sound? What are we gonna do? You know, you fake that you tripped, and
we spend more time. We spend more time on that than getting the vocals right. Miles is making a face. So,
because right now I'm calling bullshit.
There we go.
Like straight up. You know?
There we go. 4 years.
Like
Go ahead.
So here it is. We were very technical, but I think we spent a lot of time because we weren't musicians, right?
Right. We kept trying to figure shit out.
We didn't at that time we didn't hire a band.
Right.
Right. So it was kind of like we just rehearsed a cappella all the time.
Yeah, because we had no music.
Because we had no music, no production, no nothing. We was just doing a cappella. And then finally when we started doing covers, back then they used to have like super singles or maxi singles.
That had the
instrumentals. That had the instrumentals. So if we did a cover, we would just get the maxi single with the instrumental and then we would sing it.
But they would never have queued up right at shows.
Right, you'd have to cue it up, and if they hit play before you was ready,
because it was never the exact version of the song. So you had
no
to
click track before the song comes in.
We had the only song that we had music to was Download.
No, and the other no was
Be Mine Tonight. Oh,
Be Mine.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was a song. Be Mine is a song that was read. You know, he passed away. Craig, the guy who wrote that song. I don't. Y'all didn't know Craig, but the guy who wrote that song, Be Mine.
Was that another Shagan song? Didn't Shagan?
Him and Shagan wrote that together. Well, he wrote it. Shagan was the one that did the lead on it.
Yeah, did the singing.
But yeah, Craig, rest in peace, Craig Lewis. He passed away like a year and a half ago. Had a heart attack. Yeah, and he was a fantastic writer too, man. Fantastic writer.
Too young.
But yeah, I remember doing that whole that song, Be Mine.
Yeah, Be Mine Tonight.
Wow, man, it's
man.
all this.
Yeah, don't stop. Oh, yeah, stop.
I was like, we used to come up with parodies of like. We used to come up with parodies of like different
songs.
And half the time they were very they were inappropriate. But then again, we were all in our 20s and all of that back then, right?
Yeah,
so it was you know, and our goal was just to be on tour with a big old suitcase full of condoms.
Facts.
Yeah,
not mine, honey.
Baby, are you listening?
Except
let's go to commercial.
Except for Daz.
He was the good guy that went to bed right after the show.
He left on time.
Never hung out.
Right, never hung out.
That's a story. We're sticking to it.
Yeah.
But you're right.
They were the twins. No.
Yeah. Okay. See, it's live, bro. She's right upstairs. So,
my name is Peaches,
and I'm the best.
Oh man. But yeah, so you know, we you're right. That's the way you think about it like that. We had no company.
Yeah, we had none of that.
Did a lot of
we did a lot. We rehearsed a lot to try to get it perfected, and it wasn't until after like you left the group, right, when we started doing more with music and stuff like that. And
right. The last thing that I did with the group was Fantasy, when we were in the studio with Rick Starbucks. Yeah, and we did that song, but
Rick is still doing it
for whatever reason. I mean, that was like a very
shout out to Rick Starbucks.
That was like a very kind of sad because we couldn't get it right in the studio. We couldn't get it right. And
well, that we learned a lot from that experience. We learned the difference between a live show and a recording.
Yeah, which we always had fun and people enjoyed our live shows.
Our live shows, but it doesn't translate the same on a recording. Like recording records is completely different than trying to get people to feel
absolutely
what it is that you're saying. And at that time, we were very inexperienced at doing that. And honestly, you know, I was never a lead singer, and I always used to say that I used to just love to be in the background and sing harmony and stuff like that. And when we started working with Rick and those, they basically told us we didn't have a lead singer.
They basically did.
They basically
They were
was just like, y'all don't have a lead singer. And and I don't think it bruised our egos. I think it was
It was just
more
kind
of
of
a
a
learning. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Like,
so now
what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? And even if we would go into the studio and we would try to translate, so to speak, but shit just wouldn't translate. And it wasn't really, and honestly, and this is not a dig, but when Peter, if you're still there, when Peter Wayne actually joined the group,
Yeah, he was.
that was when we were like,
Oh, that's a lead singer.
that's what you need.
Even though, like you said, John had done leads in live shows and things like that.
And it was killing
but
it.
it was
killing it.
It was killing it. So I would want you to. It's not that we didn't have a lead, but that transition to studio,
Yes.
where every little nuance
Yes.
of the emotion of the
capturing
performance is captured.
Yeah, capturing.
So you it's something that's learned. I mean, I learned that dealing with other artists going forward and bringing them into the studio and saying, yeah, you sound great now, but let's see what you sound when we play back the tape.
Yeah,
Because it's going to all come true then.
And that was the thing. Definitely, we do want to say, because John definitely held us down on the leads when we were singing live and doing shows and all of that. Shows like Sweetwater is like, could you imagine, bro? We did a whole Sweetwater show a cappella.
We did, yeah.
That's right.
We
broke it down into two halves.
The
first half was all a cappella,
Well,
and then the second half after the intermission was.
What does this mean?
I
mean, I know the song, but we didn't do that.
No, this is what we came into.
That's what we walked in.
That was our intro. All right, everybody, put your hands together.
Oh my goodness. Yo, we were kind of flying it. If that was our intro, we was flying.
It was we a lot of stuff
came
we
into
did
that
we didn't, but there was some
that
innovative potential idea that we had.
And what y'all know about that?
And we cut it right at Tommy Mottola.
Yeah,
and then it faded out.
Came in and faded out, right
and then we went into our show.
What was my man's name? That was the engineer, and Sweetwater's engineer.
Oh man,
Tim? Nah, I can't remember. But he used
White
to
guy?
sing. Nah, he was a black dude, white guy. He gave us the extra harmony for Should've.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He sang from the booth.
My only claim to fame.
Yes. Still in the night.
Yes.
He was like, yo, y'all are missing a harmony part. He was like, I'll do it.
We were like,
He sang it from the
back.
He's like, yo, sing with the 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, oh, word. He was like, I got you from the back. And he was on a microphone in the back and
he
sang
the fifth note. And it was nice. He sang the fifth note. That show, yeah, we were visionary as far as what we wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
And it was just hard to go. But we came in with the intro song. We had an intermission where we went downstairs.
And changed into the hip hop.
We had dance steps.
Yeah. But do you remember what we came out to on the second half of the show?
The Cross Colors.
But do you remember what song? See, that song I remember.
What? No.
We came out.
Oh, no.
Naughty by Nature.
Check it out. It's in the breaker.
That's
Naughty
right.
by
That's
Nature.
right.
So we had like the two different, like we trying to give up like the two different feels, right? And then that was when we also sang Let Me Be the One.
Yeah.
The late Kenny Green.
We did Let Me Be the One on that show.
Intro.
We did
Shy. They thought we were shy.
Yes.
So y'all remember the group Shy? What was it? The very first? If I ever fall in love with you, whatever. So we got that song when it first came out
and sang it everywhere.
And we sang it everywhere. And when we did it that night, because Shy had just come out, people actually thought we were Shy. No. I don't know if y'all remember, and people were asking us for autographs and all that, and we obliged.
Like, sure.
Okay, sure.
Oh, wait. Before we even talk about that, when you talk about what people thought we were, remember that audition that we used the other group's name to get into?
Yeah, what was it?
Yes. Split Decision.
Yo, my dude.
So let me. This is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite stories.
We see your question, Miles Jr. So we gonna hit it up. We see it.
Oh, cool. You got it. All right. I actually told this story a couple weeks ago to somebody. So I don't know how we found out about this audition, this alleged audition. Anybody remembers the movie Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
So they were doing a audition
Of
for
independent groups.
to be on the soundtrack of a Vampire in Brooklyn with
Eddie
Eddie Murphy.
His brother was doing it.
Yes. So we were in Fort Lee, New Jersey. We went to the audition. We thought it was an open call.
No. Let me set it up. No, I'm gonna set it up, and then I'm gonna let you take it from Fort Lee. What happened was we had to submit the song, right?
Right.
We had to submit the song. So after we submitted the song and did not get selected, we was like, "Fuck that, we going anyway."
Right.
We were like, "Yo,
we were gonna bum rush the show."
We were like, "We ain't got nothing to lose. We going anyway." So we went to this club that was in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and
Stupid long line.
yeah, it was dumb. and not all these groups that were there, like people did just show up.
Right.
So then they had, and this is where I'm gonna let my man Harmony take over, because they started calling groups by name, the ones that actually did get selected to do the showcase,
Right.
to audition for the soundtrack.
All right. So we're there. We got there mad early, standing on line. We hear all these names. And I remember hearing them come out and yell a name. And the name was Split Decision, was the name of the group.
That was the first time.
That was the first time.
Right.
Nobody said nothing. They called another name. Another group went in, and we were like, yo, let's just bounce.
Yes, we were gonna leave.
Like, and I'm like, and my claim to fame in the group was, I'm getting us in. I was the guy where if we went on a road trip and we were stranded, yo, John, find us a place to stay.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
Yeah.
And I get it. We go to a club, VIP section, we're in the VIP section because that's where we're supposed to be.
Facts.
So we're standing in line, and all of a sudden, this guy's coming out, and I'm like, all right, just follow my lead. Frank's like, well, follow my lead. I go up to the guy, I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck?
No, hold up. He called the name
Yes.
again.
He called the game again. Yeah, called the name again.
He was like, yo,
Nobody
split
answered.
decision.
Nobody answered. So I'm like, look, follow my lead. I'm like, yo, man, we've been out here for a while. What's up? What's the name of your group? Split Decision. Oh, we've been calling you guys.
Yo, come on
in. These guys were like,
We was like,
I'm like, just shut up.
Shit.
We made a split decision.
We made a split decision, and for the moment, we were split decision. We went in. Was it Melba Moore that was
Yeah, I
there?
think it was Melba.
It was Melba Moore.
Melba Moore or
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was Melba
the
Moore.
host. She was
Melba Moore was the host of the showcase, and we sang. I forgot what we sang.
But hold on.
We had to.
No.
We had to fess
No,
up.
No, we didn't fess up yet.
Yes, we
Oh,
did. No.
No, we didn't. We
Yes.
fessed up after we sang.
No,
we did
no,
not.
No way.
No, we
because
did
the song,
not.
The song wasn't the song.
It wasn't the song. So this is what we said. We were like, we all sitting at the table. Now we in.
Because they wasn't get their music.
Yeah, and that, but also guilt is kicking in too, right?
Gil kicked on
We
the jaw.
like, yo, damn, we have been here. It's like, yo, we got to tell these motherfuckers we are not split decision. So dude came over to the table. It was Eddie Murphy's brother, his younger one, Vernon.
Vernon. It was
came over to the
Vernon, that's
table,
right.
right? And we was like, yo, we gotta tell you something. He was like, what's up? He was
We're not
split decision. He was like, yo,
we were waiting for the get out.
yo, we was like, yo, we not split decision. Yo, we just did what we had to do to get in this, that, and the other.
Let's give us a shot.
Yo.
Like, yo.
And to our surprise, he was like, yo, I respect y'all hustle. He was like, and I respect that y'all even told us y'all.
Because to be honest, Split Decision never showed up.
They never
So you were
showed
short
up.
a group. So give us a shot to.
And dude was
Do what
like,
we
yo,
do.
they put us on and we sang. Remember what we sang?
No.
We sang Be
Be
Mine.
Mine, right.
And at the time,
yeah.
yo, what was so crazy about Be Mine, it was like a mid-tempo.
It was a
Jazzy.
beautiful song, but
It
not
was
for
a-
that place.
Yo, but check it out.
Infectious. It had a nice little chant.
And it was like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, it was long. It was long as hell. It was like the Bohemian Rhapsody of that time. Like 9 minutes. Who's gonna listen to a 9-minute song?
Right.
Oh.
It was like, yo, and we sang it from front
To
back.
back, vamp out, chorus.
And
Yo,
it was
we
like-
did the
Oh,
whole.
nah, look at Sheila sing a little bit. Yeah. Go ahead, just
I don't even know how. I don't remember how that song goes.
Sheila.
We don't remember how any song goes.
Yo, but
Yeah,
on the real, what was even crazy
Not even
is
Still of
that,
the Night.
to make a long story short, we did not get selected for
We
the
did not.
soundtrack of
We did
Vampire
not.
in Brooklyn.
I think they were
Well,
like,
it was a farce anyway because none of the songs made it.
Yeah, nobody got. Yeah,
Matter
It
of
was
fact,
just
the
like a
movie didn't come out
promotion.
until like 2 years later.
Yeah, and it was like a promotion for the club or whatever, and a way for them to make money or whatever. So
Yeah, so
we kind of got.
that's probably why they let us on because they were lying themselves.
Yeah. So yo, my son Miles Williams over there, he
Yes, I
said,
had a question.
what was the best part about being in a group during an era of R&B groups?
Wow.
And what was the hardest part? The best part.
Go ahead.
The best part was we was just dreaming of that suitcase full of condoms
and money.
and money. Yeah, like fame, fortune. I mean,
Yeah,
that was like that was the dream. And the best part, really, honestly, was and it's funny because Sheila's on here too, and we owe a lot to Sheila. And I think this was after you left. Like we started rehearsing at Sheila's house up in the Bronx when she lived off of Gun Hill, right?
I mean, should go back.
Yeah, I know y'all go back.
Years,
Y'all brought her to the table, the shake and all of that, right? And I remember she used to look at us and she was like, "Yo, y'all ain't performing. Y'all are boring." Right? And like she like really put that to us or whatever. And it was just like, we're like, well, what are you talking about? She's like, yo, what are you doing? You just standing there. She's like, yo, how do you feel? Like, and like honestly, it was foreign to us, right? We was just like, yo, she was really trying to teach us how to perform. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, Miles, like just being in a group, like just performing and having the dreams, because back when we were doing it really before R&B groups really started popping off, right? So, but we had the dreams, like we talk about Shy, but Shy came in the middle of us. Yeah, like in the middle of us. But like, I want to say Boys to Men was out, and that was just the era, like Jade, Jodeci, SWV, TLC.
There was definitely a place for us. There was a place for us to go.
And I thought about this, yesterday when I knew we were going to do this. And kind of feeds into answer your question. For me personally, it's the energy. Like I got the name Harmony because just to hear like a bunch of voices converging and just making that just harmony just thrilled me.
Yeah,
so to get on stage and actually, we were so good to the point that give any song, if he started singing the song, I knew what my note was going to be. I would jump in. Miles would jump in. Well, not with Shagan. I mean, not with Frank. Because
check it.
I'm talking about for me.
Yes, for him.
I'm talking about for me. I like that we could. Remember the time we were in my apartment when with Lisa, and we sang.
What time?
We sang "Water Runs Dry" by Boys to Men.
Yeah.
And we just started singing, and we just caught the harmony.
But for me, so. There was definitely an element of that, but me as not really being like a person with an ear, I can tell when something's off. I can tell when this, boom, boom, boom. But I can never really jump into harmony, so I always had to work at it.
Yeah,
right?
like
so
me,
I would have to have the melody note.
Yeah,
because that'd be easiest for me to actually have it, and everybody else would work around me. But we definitely did. We worked hard, so that was actually.
And I guess with me, it came easy to me because of the fact that
you were in
choir.
Yeah,
like I got to the point that I'm like, wait a minute, she's flat. I hear her.
I didn't do my first actual recording of a song until I was 17. I wrote I've written songs before that, but that was my thing was writing, and I wanted to become a singer. And working with you guys, my confidence was always, it's always like kind of like. I remember, Miles, remember you told me this. You said that I'm the guy that sings when the train comes by.
Right.
And I used to be like, what is it? You're the guy that when the train comes by and nobody can really hear you, belt, but then the train goes by and you're like, oh, and then you put it back again. And so that in combination that, let's face it, I was a fucking flake. I flaked out on a lot of things. At that time I was unsure of myself. So I'm not just saying, but it's but I'm just saying, I'm talking about just my conflict of wanting to, at that time of my age, I always wanted to please everybody.
Yeah.
So I want to please Joe, I want to please my girl, and that was a lot of conflict. I remember they used to be like, "Oh, Vic's like, she Yoko Ono, she's breaking up the group." But it wasn't, it was me.
I got you.
Trying to play the burn a candle at both ends. So I'm gonna do this. No, I'm gonna do this, and I had to learn that. And leaving the group, I left the group in '93, something like that. Beginning of '93, and then getting married in '94, and watch these guys continue. And become more advanced and really do what they said that they wanted to do. And so it was, for me, it was bittersweet in the sense that I was like, damn, I gave it that 80%, and I never got to that 100%. And who knows?
It's real interesting that you're touching on that, because you're absolutely right. You left the group right when we were going to ask you to leave.
Mm-hmm. No, I know that.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah. I know you do.
And that's why I left.
That's why
because I was like, they're going to tell me to get out of here.
For the record, I didn't want you to leave. I never wanted to.
He was spearheading this shit.
It was all Miles. Miles was like.
But and it wasn't for nothing more than like we
couldn't count on me.
But we were trying to take things like really seriously, right? And it wasn't that we couldn't count on you. I guess it was just that, what do you want to do? And
but it came to the point that we couldn't count on him because we were missing rehearsals.
But you
missed the show.
But you explained it. No, you didn't.
Didn't he miss the show?
No. You explained it. You explained it eloquently about how you were being pushed and pulled and all that.
But nobody was pushing and pulling.
You were just trying to be a pleaser.
Yeah, I was creating that by saying, "Oh, guys, yeah, I could do that."
Right.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. And then being like, damn, I can't do both.
Right.
So sometimes I would disappoint this side, sometimes I would disappoint this side. And in essence, I was the one losing out on the whole situation.
That's interesting. That's the first time that I actually heard you actually really even say what that was.
I mean, that
he came here older than New York to hear this.
Nah, I just, I came here to have fun.
But it's something that, when you go back and you look at certain things, and I talk about that time, it's a very happy time for me. Up until that point where I had to be like, all right.
Had to make a choice.
I had to make a choice. And
he chose love. And look at him, he got a house and a wife and a couple of kids.
And I still went back and, and tried to do music in other aspects. Miles and I have worked together on other projects. We were doing that Thumping Thursdays for a while.
Thumping Thursdays.
Where we had, showcases for other independent artists, but the independent artists that never wanted to promote themselves.
Yo, I was just talking about that yesterday with a woman, because we were just talking about the whole independent scene. And so she said some shit that was like so mad eloquent about the independent scene. And I told her that when we were doing that third Thumping Thursdays, at downtime, right? That we told the artists, the independent artists, we charged $10 at the door, and we told them they got 30%. We're like, yo, you'll get 3 off the 10 to try to give the independent artists some incentive to promote so they could get a check.
Kind of look at we went
because we used to get screwed from all time.
Yeah, because we never got paid. Yeah. We used to just have to what's his name? Gene Lewis and all of them cats. They would make us sell tickets. That was the Sweetwater show. They made us sell tickets, and it was just like the first 50 tickets, $500 went to them. Anything after 50, the next 50 went to us, and then anything after that 100, we split 50-50 with them.
So, and most independent artists ain't bringing
more
than 50 people.
Check this out. You know how fucking hard it is to find 50 people
to come to one show.
And that 50, that 500 went to them, and then the next 50, we got to find 50 more? Yo,
as an independent artist, when nobody really knows who you are, other than your friends and your family, like the Sweetwater show, my mom and my grandmother were there.
Right.
My cousin was there. Our family was there. So it's like, how do we get?
But there was one time, ladies and gentlemen, that we stood on our morals and we refused to sell tickets. And we sat up in there and they put us on last.
Oh, yes! The 5 spot.
Yes.
Yo, he ain't lying.
Yes.
But it was the same production company. It was
Gene
Lewis.
We're not doing it this
We're
time.
not doing it
crazy about that show, and we'll double back to
and Sheila is part of this show too, if you're still with us, Sheila, because Yeah, that was your boy who passed away.
James Earl Jones.
James. Yeah, was his name.
No, it was Andre Harrell.
Yeah, but James
Earl Jones.
Yeah, that was the A&R guy.
Not Star Wars James Earl Jones, but the A&R,
Yeah, for
James
Uptown,
Earl Jones.
right.
So what's crazy was we all went to this art show one time, and at the very end of the art show,
Alonzo Adams
was the artist.
He's a very famous artist right now. Look him up, Alonzo
And
Adams.
there were mad celebrities at this art show. Russell Simmons was there. Andre Harrell was there. Alan Payne was there. I got mistaken for him. Jasmine Guy was one of the models for one of his paintings.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the end of the show, everything was kind of winding down, and one of the caterers, she was a pie lady. And she had this peach pie. And she's like, hey, you want this peach pie? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I can't stand peach pie. So I look over and Frank was talking to Andre Harrell. So me being, the personality guy I am, I walk over, interrupt their conversation. I'm like, hey, man, you want a peach pie? So Andre Harrell, rest in peace. And he was like, hell yeah, I love peach pie. He goes, that's crazy. Now, if I ever meet you again, all you got to do is remind me that you're the guy that gave me the peach pie.
He did remember me. He went to the hotel.
He remembered all of us.
And I said that story to him when I was working at I forget which hotel it was, but he was staying.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, do you remember? He was like, oh, at the art show. He was like, yeah.
I ran into him
all the time,
multiple times. And for a brief moment, I was working at Arista Records. Mm-hmm. So I was running into him all the time. And he's like, hey, peach pie guy. But prior to that, so now going to the 5 spot where we stood our ground, not selling tickets. This showcase was, when I tell you,
it was for Uptown Records.
Andre Harrell was there, Heavy D was there,
everybody.
Andre Harrell, James Ojo, all these people were there. Went right up to Andre, yo, Andre, what's up? Peach pie guy. Hey, what's up? I'm like, we're performing tonight. He goes, cool. When you going on, I'm like, I don't know yet, but we performed. He's like, cool. I'll be looking out this.
That's right.
With his then wife.
There were a whole bunch of acts. One particular act that I actually told Miles about this. And
later, it was called Break of Dawn.
There was a female group, these 3 girls called Break of Dawn.
And they were bad.
It was one girl that stood out from the whole crowd. And later on, I had the videotape of that performance. And I was watching some show on VH1 or whatever, and come to find out that one of the members of Break of Dawn was Monifa.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
He still had it on videotape.
And when they were all introducing her, hi, I'm Cammy, and the other girls, and I'm Monifa, and I'm like, we performed at the same show, and Monifa ended up being a solo artist. She was one of Uptown's from that showcase. Turned out to be one of Uptown's, leading ladies, whatever. But long story short, we
on the real, Monifa in that group was the one who stood out.
Yeah.
She had
personality. She had this
like,
fishnet thing.
Her
moves, her voice stood out from the other 2 girls. One girl was like 80 pounds wet.
Yeah, it was.
She had
Monifa. I'm not going to
she
talk about
stood
that.
out.
Monifa stood out.
We are now. We got picture this. We're sitting up.
Like on the second balcony.
Mm-hmm. And we're sitting there and we're watching all these groups. We're watching the people.
Horrible. That one guy that rapped, the little kid.
We're like, yeah, it's a nice crowd.
Yeah,
this is our break. This is our night. I already told James. I told Andre Harrell. He went to Heavy D. Yeah, it's the guy gave Pete. Yo, let's see what people were ready for us. That was our night. There was 5 acts in the showcase. It must have been about 1 o'clock in the morning. Andre actually came up to me. He was like, yo, man, when you going on? I'm like,
he did.
Bro,
he was like,
we about to leave, man.
We about to leave.
I'm like, let me find out.
He was like, don't go.
Don't go. Everybody was gone. All right, next up, business and pleasure.
It was literally.
We performed for the waitstaff.
Yeah, it was Rick.
It was, our producer, his wife.
And some other person.
And the servers that were just cleaning up.
And at first we was just like, yo, we're not gonna do it. And then we was just like, yo, fuck it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
But we performed like we were performing in front of a crowd of
it's just that
it was just so mad disappointing.
Yeah,
it was disappointing in the sense that because we really were like, well, we're gonna stand our ground because it's not right the way they treat the artists and make them sell these tickets.
Yeah,
is
sell
just-
tickets and get nothing
And
from
we
it.
were like, nah, we're not doing it again.
So Miles Jr., to answer your question, that's a downside.
That was definitely
That's definitely a downside. Just it's easy to get blackballed just for little simple stuff.
White
Going back to
ball,
the white ball. Ah, here we go. White ball.
Anyway,
So
but nah, it's so those are the things that we go through. I mean, it's it's 9 o'clock, right? And we haven't even touched on all the stuff that we have gone through.
like the download situation.
And I wasn't in the
Wait, that
group
sounds bad.
long.
The download situation.
I wasn't in the group that long. We still went through a whole bunch of stuff, even before I left. I mean, the download situation is a whole story in itself.
Yeah, so real quick.
Yeah,
just
we gotta tell
real quick.
that.
So
Tell that one.
we wrote a song during the time because the whole thing was on the download, but not on the download like being a undercover homosexual.
Yeah,
The saying was on the download like, yo, you're checking out these women, but you're gonna be on the download, so like nobody.
Oh, we
will
messing
know.
around, but we gotta
Yeah,
keep this
keep
on the
it on
download.
the
Because you got a woman
Yeah,
at
you
home.
got this,
or-
boom, boom, boom. So we wrote the song, kind of like that.
Yeah.
We wrote that song kind of like that, and then ultimately how Sheila plays industry cats are shady.
Yeah.
Sheila. What do you call it? Sheila comes in there because fast forward when Frank was actually out of the group, R. Kelly came out with a song called "Keep It on the Down Low."
Yeah, download.
And
with,
then,
Ronald Isley and
yeah.
Shantae Moore.
And I remember, we were like, yo, we wrote that. And at the time, there was an A&R at Jive Records who I actually got, I sent it to him. I sent our tape with the download on it. So we kind of had the receipt of us actually sending the song. R. Kelly was signed to Jive Records. And, Sheila Time worked for a law firm, and she talked to the lawyers, and then all of a sudden there was this whole thing about like taking this case,
Right.
saying you were
Because it had
calling
merit.
Like somebody
Yeah.
actually listened to the song, and the breakdown of R. Kelly's download sounded just like our vamp out of our version.
Yeah, which
It
is
was so similar.
hi, Shay Jazz is here. Look at that.
Let's go. Okay, we're gonna
So,
run
but-
this till 10. Let's go.
So the whole thing, even to wrap that up with the with the down low is
How can you see that? I'm blind. As hell.
That's why I put up the big TV.
That's the one I'm looking at.
with with the whole thing with the down low when Frank had left the group, and we actually had the further that we went, we actually had a demo deal with Rockefeller Records when they first started. And I remember, and this was at the time, Sheila's, the law firm wanted to take the thing. We had this deal. And as a group decision, we decided that we didn't, and like thinking about it, it's like, oh, we should have been controversial, but we were nice guys,
Yeah.
right? So we were like, yo, we don't want to take this case forward
And risk.
and like risk ruining our shit and being that group that, you know what I mean? But in the reality of it, that's what the music industry is all about,
Yeah.
right? We should have just did it, but we didn't do
I
it.
remember you guys. I remember when you called me, and you were like, "Yo, have you ever listened? Have you noticed?" And I'm to the wind. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm like, "Yo, that's true." So I was at one of the meetings. I went to the meeting with the attorney. I don't know if it was the
Yeah, we
first
went
meeting.
down because it was crazy because the law office that Sheila worked at, it was like, yo, it looked like the movie The Firm, right? Like they had the big wooden shit. We was like, yo, this shit is
This is
real.
nice.
Yo, this is like, yo, we seriously in this little conference room and they
And we
meeting
talked
with
about,
us.
I was like, whatever y'all want to do,
Right.
I want to do it. And I did understand at the time that you just want to get. And it's funny how controversies and the willingness to be controversial has changed.
Yeah.
Because you flip that around, and now somebody would be like, "Yeah, let's sue him."
Yeah.
Let's go for
We
it.
should have put out a sex tape.
No, I'm good.
But yeah, that was the main thing. It's like we really discussed it. We're like, look, we're trying to get really on. We just got the deal with Rockefeller. We're like, do we want to get whiteballed? Because this is R. Kelly. What if he says, you know what, you sign him up and then we'll just throw. Yeah, right. Hindsight is 2020.
The thing to do would be to sue him.
Right.
Wow.
And what's funny is,
Hindsight.
and I told this story to a coworker of mine. Shout out to Jamar. And I told him this exact story, and he looked at me with this look, and he said, No. His exact words were, "Thinking about it now, if you can go back, would you have done it again?"
We all been in court.
And I'm like, I can't even answer that.
It's true. You don't know. I mean, and it's almost like it's not even what's the point of going back and saying maybe you should have or maybe you should have. It is what it is. We know that
It would have been known as
we
the
know
guy.
he stole it
Aren't you the
from
guys that sue R. Kelly?
Right. But yeah, and that was the other thing. Like, we don't want to be sitting up there like Pharrell and all that, like with the whole,
I've told that
Robin
story.
Thicke and all
People,
that.
people gave me this look.
I know, they don't, like our history is crazy, yo.
Yeah, people
Our
like, yeah,
history
okay,
is
yeah, all right.
crazy.
Also, you have pointed this out to me. Not only history-wise, but like things that we did, like the way we broke up the group into like hip hop, pop, jazz, assorted flavors. That whole concept of assorted flavors was something that we had done before that group. Assorted Flavors was a female group, and their whole thing was
Dave Jam Hall put out.
Yeah, that it was the R&B one, it was the hip hop one, it was the jazz one.
And this is what I was saying before when I was answering Miles Jr.'s question that I thought about the other day. What bothered me about like our come up was we wrote.
Mm-hmm.
We wrote songs that's one of the beautiful things about us that we actually no we sang. Come on, I'm not hearing that. But we wrote, and we wrote meaningful. And a lot of times people that we came across would be like, yeah, you guys are good and I hear it, but there's this the choruses is too intricate and there's too much writing involved, and we try to dumb down. Like if you listen to some of the songs now, hooks are just like 2 words, repeated over and over again. But at the time, they were telling us that our verses were too wordy, hence the 7-minute song. You know what I mean? But then I, fast forward to like the jagged edges, like meet me at the altar in your white dress. We're not getting no younger. It's like it was a paragraph that they sang.
It's time.
But when we were doing it, it was like it's too wordy.
Yeah, that's something.
So it's all about timing, and our timing wasn't.
I can't remember. It's like because like you said, all the groups like go, like this. Were you guys? Was it this group where we met the A&R on the train station? And I don't think it was this group. Y'all ain't even remotely like.
No, we'll get into it. Like, wait. Miles was skipping out. So. We met at A&R for Giant Records. It wasn't this group. It was this group. It was.
It's funny you made it say, how can a person not listen? When you do this stuff, sometimes like your worlds they just meld into like one big memory, Because I have like 3 different. I can sit here and have this conversation with you guys, and then I can take another part and have a collage, and then another, when I did Times Rap Music and working with Eddie, there's a whole nother section of after a while it just kind of melds together. So you kind of have to stop and
try to remember think, like.
Oh no, this person was involved with that. It's like with Vernon Stewart. I know that you know who he is because he ended up meeting us again, right?
You're talking about Who's Gonna Be?
Yeah, Who's Gonna Be, right. But that was the guy who did vocal lessons for my old group.
Yeah,
he passed away. He passed away. I ended up speaking with his sister.
Did you?
And she finally, 2 years after I wrote her, she found, how you get your messages on Facebook, it's in the card. She found it and she was like, oh my God. And she goes, you knew my brother? And we talked for like a couple of days, just like,
that's
she
awesome.
used to tell us about stuff, and I was telling her about the songs that he wrote, and she was just like amazed. She was like, "That's amazing! I'm so glad somebody got to know him." She's like, "Cause he went through a lot. He went through a lot of stuff."
Yeah, he went through a lot of thievery. People were stealing his shit.
Is anybody gonna call in? Let's get
shake it up. Frank, remember Q used to always tell me that.
Oh, that's that.
Sean.
Oh yeah,
you can see that.
Yeah, you got to shorten the hook, man.
Yeah, my boy Eddie used to be. He's like, oh, that's too. Eddie was a very great writer, but he also would be like, he would be like, oh no, we got to shorten that hook. I know I'm into my writing phase, and that's not gonna work because that's not what they're looking for. So shorten the hook, you always do that. I'm a great writer.
I know that.
I have no qualms about saying that. My singing was always my thing. I'm a good performer too. Like if I'm,
that's fact too.
But it just never.
You came up with the rap for download.
Those two things never.
I would tell you. Would tell. Keep it on the DL.
Oh,
you keep it a secret.
Sure did.
Because I came up with a rap, And he was like, nah. I was like, nah, I got this.
Yo, you sure did.
I will tell you,
that's
keep it on the
crazy.
DL. Oh, well, what the hell? We can make it really swell.
But it's funny is that I was like, oh, what kind of word can I use for that? It just fit. It was fun, man. It was fun. And you always told me to do something with. There's a couple of songs that mom has always been like, yo, you got to do something with, like Brand New Side.
Brand New Side is still.
Wow, Brand New Side of Me. That was good. That was a dope song too.
That's a crazy song. Like we got hits that we have never been.
I say we get them together now and sell them and make some. What? Come on, man.
Yeah, we definitely.
We ain't getting on stage no more, but we can sell some songs. Like, all right, anybody out there that needs music, we write.
Yo, the crazy part is that we can actually do the Sia, like disguise ourselves and act like we're young, and then like just make records.
Yeah.
Yo, and put them out. Yo, that's the market we in right now, right?
You ever want to come make records?
That's girl. You only live 20 minutes.
I'm an ASCAP artist, so let's go.
Yo, speaking of which, I got my first ASCAP check this year. Yo.
I've never seen an ASCAP.
I keep getting ASCAP checks.
I've never seen an ASCAP check.
I get ASCAP checks.
My first ASCAP.
What was it? Were there numbers before the decimal point?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it crazy when you get a check? You're like,
not a
what?
lot,
but still to be recognized.
I couldn't believe it. I was
and once you get a check, you're an ASCAP member for life. So
I think it was January 14th. I think it was like when I saw it, I was like, it's like wow, I got money.
They sent me envelopes.
We still have
non-achievement.
Wait, are you still logged on?
I get those.
They sent me the envelopes and say I haven't paid any money. But,
Yeah.
I get it.
Actually, I got a check in January.
Yeah, and
I got a check January.
That's thanks to Peter Wayne. Me and Peter Wayne, like we still wrote a lot of songs. John always makes fun of the song. Which one is it? The Watch That Girl.
Watch that
yeah, I know that song actually. I know that song.
She's known for great.
Peter's still doing this thing.
Peter's still doing this thing.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Peter Wayne, man.
He started his own label. He's putting out his own music. He's got
showcases. I love seeing. I follow you on YouTube, and I do some stuff
at one point.
Yeah, he was in the
Dells. Yeah, I was like, yo, big time. And we cannot negate the fact that he was a 3-time Apollo winner.
Yes,
you know,
that's right. Because I went to see him at the Apollo.
Yeah.
On one of those wins. I'm sitting all the way outside at the top. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then he made it to Top Dog. He was on TV the whole nine. Whoopi Goldberg was on.
And let's not lose sight that we also did Apollo and did not get booed.
Oh,
all right. So
you weren't in the group.
I went there. Oh yeah.
So fast forward when Frank left the group and
we did a lot of
stuff. Shaken wasn't in the group anymore either.
No, it was the three of us.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, because I saw.
And I think
just three.
Yeah, because Shaken left the group.
No, wait a minute. Shaken? Are you there? Didn't Shaken? Yeah, because we did not Be Mine, because he had like a semi-lead part.
We did Let's Go. Which was our biggest.
No, we
mistake.
did Cool.
We did Let's Go, bro. If we did Cool, we would have won. We did Let's Go. Trust me.
All the years, this is common. Right?
We did.
He could say we did Cool. I won. If we'd have done Cool, we would have won. But we did Let's Go because Ray Chu was like, yo. And after we did Let's Go, Ray Chu and Ralph Roll, who were members of the Apollo band, were basically they literally was like, yo, don't fuck around and have a hit song on your hands and don't do nothing with it. Like that's what he said because we were the only group that night that actually did an original song and did not get booed. And when we ran off the stage, we high-fived like we wasn't a motherfucker. like, yo, we was like Kobe and Shaq running out, you know, Scotty and Mike. Like,
hey,
yo,
not to get booed, boy.
Not to get booed with an original song.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
And but what happened was, so what year was this? This was like maybe like this had to be 90. It was definitely the summer of 97. And I can tell you why definitely because right after that, me and John, we went to Martha's Vineyard. That was our first time going and we rented out a house. And that was also the year that Mike Tyson bit Evander's ear, right? So like 2 weeks, like I remember 2 weeks before that is when we did the Apollo. And
she's steady. Sheila's steady trying to get us to sing.
Give us a few bars, yeah.
So I gave some
bars. The reason I remember that is because the day that we left to go to Martha's Vineyard, and we hadn't picked you up yet. And a friend of mine, Dolores, Dr. Garcia up in Connecticut, she was going to Teachers College. So I had to go down to Columbia and meet her at Teachers College, and it was like 7 a.m. It was like mad early, right? And I'm standing outside, and I'm like, who wipe the coal out my eye? See who's this asking me and why, right? So I'm standing outside, and this girl walks out of the building, and she goes,
said, "Let go."
Let go.
I guess that's a song.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So yeah,
but wait,
Shagan, were you with us at the Apollo when we sang? Wait for it.
He said, "Let's go."
He said, "Let go."
Yeah, it was four of us, and just Shagan was definitely part of it.
If Shagan was there, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But to tell you, to go back to standing in front of Teachers College, this girl comes out at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? And she looks at me and she goes, "Did you sing at the Apollo like 2 weeks ago?" And I'm like,
Yes, I did.
I said, yeah. And then she was like, "Y'all were good. Y'all should have won." And I was like,
I didn't hear you clapping.
I was like, "Fucking, that wasn't up to us.
It was up to
It
you."
was up to you." But that was kind of like Shagan was there. Shagan was. So you did the Apollo with us.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, I remember that when we did that show, there was a loaded crowd because the person that won, there was mad people in the crowd.
No, that's not what.
Because there was rappers on that showcase. We just,
you really don't remember shit.
you know what? All right, good night, everybody.
You suffer from CRS.
You think you know everything.
But I'm telling you what happened.
What happened?
There was a girl. So this is why I said it was 97. I said that for a purpose. You remember me saying that?
Yes, you did.
Because it was right. Because it was the year that Biggie died, right?
Okay.
So the girl who actually won was this female chick, and she just came out. She didn't rap. She didn't do nothing. She just hyped the crowd. And when she dropped Hypnotize, the crowd fucking went bonkers, lost their shit. And that was how we lost and she won, which is why I said, I know CRS, nigga. And that's why I said that had we done Cool, because Cool was a hip hop song, it was an original song, and we were basically calling out dudes and we were calling out women, and that would have actually been spoken to the crowd, because the whole 9 yards, but you know. Well, it was. See, Shagan, it was Let's Go. Absolutely. Tell them, Shay Jazz. I know. I know.
To a place where no one knows.
And it was to the sample of the sample was Float On.
Yes.
Float On. So you see our wrestling.
It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, right. So the song was
Network.
by the Floaters. We sampled the song.
I remember the song.
The song The Floaters, Float On. It was like that music. So, and that was how we actually kind of did music too, right? Like we practiced a cappella all the time, right. But we had music in our mind. So we would, like, when we went to someplace like the Apollo and we didn't have a band.
And you had Ray Chu that actually could
play Ray Chu, Ralph Roll, and all like the bass player. I don't remember what the bass player was, but we would be like, yo, you know the bass line to the Floaters? And then he'd be like, yeah. And then the player's like, yeah. We was like, yo. Then we would tell the keyboard player, yo, just listen to our notes. Like these are the notes. And we'd be like, all right. And then we would tell the drummer, yo, just hit the groove.
Just drum.
Just hit the groove, yo. Yeah, yo. Yeah, Sean. She did Biggie's Hypnotize and won. That's exactly what and she didn't even rhyme it. She just dropped the beat and was like, yeah, like doing this shit. And the girl was like, ah! Yo,
Brooklyn people in the
because like straight up, New York is like this is Biggie City, man. He the king of New York, for real. So, and he had just died, so
we had no wins on that.
We had no wins. And the thing about it was the way we wound up doing the Apollo, just so you know, Peter Wayne was a hustler too, like John. Peter Wayne was always like, yo, meet me at 3 o'clock at the Apollo. Come to the back door. Right? And then we were like, all right, and then we would go to the back door of the Apollo, right? And then all of a sudden we were there, and it was like, yo, Peter, what we doing? He's like, yo, we auditioning. And we was like, all right, cool. All right, we auditioning, this, that, and the other, right? So we get up there and we do the song Let's Go or whatever. And then Ray Chu goes, yo, y'all are on tonight. We was like, dude, what?
Oh, that's right.
He was like, what?
That,
They was like, yo, you're on
instant.
tonight. Be back at 7. And it was maybe like 5 o'clock. John had to go all the way back up to Parkchester. I was already in Harlem trying to take. And then we was like, yo,
What are we gonna wear?
Yo, what are we wearing? And yo, we got to get people in the audience. And at the time, Pam, and maybe a Denverlet were in the audience for us, like because they were roommates.
Right.
And we called them up, and Pam came. So we had like 2 people in the audience. So we didn't even get a chance to like even to stack the crowd,
Well, yeah.
like freaking Motif and them used to do all the time.
Yeah. Shout out to Motif.
Yeah, they used to stack the crowd, and we learned a lot from them for that. And they wound up getting the deal, but they were dope too.
London Payday.
Yeah, but that's the whole Apollo story.
That's
Yeah,
wild, man.
but you know, we actually did have a shot. We had a shot, and then afterwards, like I said, when Frank left the group and Peter Wayne joined, and when we got the demo deal with Rockefeller, that was a whole nother thing. We used to do. If y'all have the Reasonable Doubt album, Maria Davis on the Reasonable Doubt album, she was a real person, like for real.
Yeah.
And she did Mad Wednesdays at this club called Esso. And we were down there, and we figured out that if we did Esso's, you know, one time, because Maria was a hustler too. Like she charged us to perform, right? And she charged us $100 the very first time. She might deny, but this is real. This is a true story. But she charged us $100, and we're like, yo, $100. But at the time, Maria's spot was like the hottest spot. Like, and I'm talking about everybody was in there. You know how we said, and Andre Harrell and all them was in there? Maria's spot every week. Everybody was there. Yeah. Peter Wayne, we used to sing with Peter Wayne. Yeah. So
it's crazy.
So we paid her the $100 once, and because the concept was like, we was like, yo, if what you am I leaving something out, Sheila?
We're getting there.
Yo,
Relax.
am I leaving
We're
something
getting
out? Because like, yo, type it up, because I'm not trying to rewrite history, Sheila. But we had paid her that one time. Were you the one that told us if we paid her this one time, we never have to pay her again? Because that was the whole logic. And once we paid her that one time, she kept inviting us back. Right? And the day that we met Dame Dash in the bathroom while he was taking a piss, and he gave us the business card, and
Miles shook his hand too.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was another dude in there named Rashad, who wasn't managing us, but when he was the one that pointed out Dame, we didn't know who Damon Dash was. And Rockefeller, this is actually
non-priority. It's like when they first started.
This is actually,
it was just Jay-Z.
Yeah, this is brand new, and so Rockefeller was kind of like bubbling under, and so Rashad was like, "Yo, you see that dude over there?" He's like, "You know who that is?" He was like, "You're taking a piss," and he's like, "Yo, that's Damon Dash, CEO of Rockefeller Records." So Rockefeller was just bubbling. Ain't no nigga right. was the song, right? Which ironically, that's the beat that we used to the song "Cool," and he was just like, he was just like, "Yo, Dame, you like how they sound?" And Dame was like, "Yeah, they sound good." And he said to Rashad, he's like, "Yo, you managing them?" And of course he said, "Yeah."
Yes, I am.
So he was like, "Yeah," and then he was like, "All right," and then he's like, he gave Rashad his card, and then Rashad gave the card to me. I think that was his name, Rashad. I hate to get names wrong, but I remember he was a black dude. He had his hair dyed or whatever. He was a mad cool dude, and he was in our corner. So we came out, and with Sheila, we were Blue Diamonds. We got to shout out Blue Diamonds. They were managing us at the time. And then we came out, Sheila and Nancy, and we came out and gave them the card. And then, that's all she wrote, really, because I pestered the shit out of Sheila, until she called Dame. And I remember the day that she called, she's like, all right, I'll call you back. And then she hung up, and I think she might have even beeped me because we had beepers back then. And then she hit me back, and I heard that. She was like, so let's say she called on like a Monday. She was like, "Yo, y'all got a meeting on Friday." And boom, that it went down just like that.
Let me tell you something about Sheila. Sheila, I've known Sheila for like 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
You old
it's funny
motherfucker.
because
30 years.
Sheila has
I'm only 25.
crossed paths with 3 different aspects of my life.
Yeah.
But we were, working together all those years ago, and then she became friends with my friend from Webster Avenue and stuff like that. And then she became your guys' manager. So it's crazy how long you've been, an integral part. And we haven't seen each other in so long. I would love for us to get, hooked up.
Yeah, I always thought
that would be a good show to
bring.
bring Sheila up.
And then me and Sheila used to sing. We were back in volunteer corps all those years ago. We did talent shows. We would sing songs together and stuff like that. So it's crazy how many different things tie together. Like the fact that Sean knows Peter, my boy Sean. Yeah. Sean is that goes back with me and Eddie and our crew over there.
See that? Yeah.
It's wild how
Sheila sitting there she's sitting there. We were like 20 then. Yeah, that's real. But Sheila was very great person. She's got a mind of her mind is crazy. She's got a lawyer's mind. I don't know if that's from working with lawyers or whatever. And I always just tell her if my companies blow up, I'm coming back to get her, because she's one of those people that just has that kind of mind, and it's logical, and she don't take shit.
Nah, she don't.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of you can't fuck with her. Follow her ass on Twitter. I ain't gonna give up her Twitter.
She'll be the first one to tell me that when I said I was a flake when I was younger, she'll be the first one. She'll be like, "Yep, yes, he was."
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Back in the day, Frank was a Neo before Neo.
Wow, songwriting wise, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real.
That's real.
That's very real.
Frank used to
we gotta give Frank his flowers, yo, because Frank's his pen game was and still is, like he said, because he's still writing, he's still doing this thing, is crazy. Like I said, that song Brand New Side, I always talk about that song because it was just to me, it was during that time, and it still is kind of Ain't No Stopping Us Now. It's one of those songs that has a message that is an instant classic. You know what I mean? Just a Brand New Side to me, it's it's an instant classic. So for real, Frank's pen game is there's no joke, for real.
Facts.
Oh, my pen game. Oh man, it's incredible, man, because it feels like we've been here for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched anything. There's
look at Shay Jazz. Look at Shay Jazz.
Oh,
look at Shay Jazz. Yo, Shagan, check this out, man. We still got that bottle of Moet from 1992.
Yo, let him call it. Can he call it?
And here's the thing, from 1992, and I was going to bring it tonight, but I didn't because you weren't going to be here. You understand what I'm saying? So,
and for people that don't know, the bottle of, I don't think we touched on what the bottle of Moet really was. It
was a gift.
It was a gift. No, but it was a gift. And what we did was we all signed it because we were we're gonna pop this bottle at our album release party.
And we put release date.
And we put all the date that we got it, and then we put the slashes for the actual date, but we never filled it.
We never filled that release date.
And Miles, hack rat that he is,
from 1992,
still got that bottle. That
if you got a minute, man, if you got a minute and you want to, man, give me a call 732-955-4931. No pressure.
Yeah, man.
Just be good to hear your voice.
Yo, man. Call us so we can sing "Be Mine" for Sheila.
Yo, what happened? You got rid of the because you got the screen thing on, so you can't do two in one thing.
I gotta take the what do I have on there?
Yo, he said pop it. Nah, man, we can't pop.
We can't pop without you, bro.
We can't pop the freaking champagne without you. Yo, Shagan, you see Sheila right above you? I don't know how this was. She said,
all right, Shagan, I got one for you. Let's all get together, write a song. When it wins a Grammy, we'll pop the bottle. And silence.
Hey, you know what, man? Of course it's silence. It's not on the phone.
And somersault.
What's that? That's a recent me and Miles got so much inside crap.
We were talking about the Suzuki Samurai. You know how them shits used to flip?
Yeah.
And
so I was like, oh yeah, I'm driving up. We got the girls in the car. And somersault. Everyone's dead.
Cars are funny because we go back to when we were talking about that gym when we went to
gym night
in Connecticut. We were so tired on the way back.
Oh God.
Shagan was driving.
Shagan
was driving.
Shagan driving?
Yes.
Was driving,
he drove back and we were terrified.
Shagan driving with the lean because the car's leaning, swerving over a little bit. And we get back to the Bronx, and
On Meshuggah Parkway.
Meshuggah Parkway,
We pull up to the light.
and
I was driving at that point.
we've all been tested. Sheila, we're good. She said, I just realized you're all in the room without masks.
Yeah, I got tested today. Yeah, I get tested.
This is actually a green screen. I'm home.
right.
So, you know, we pull off of Meshuggah Parkway, and we come around. There's a little hill, and there's a red light. So
A long
red light. So we're sitting there. We all tired. The sun's out. We've been, you know,
Partying,
and
2-hour
partying
drive.
and all of a sudden,
we were drunk. Keep it real.
the light turns red, and all four of us
Fall asleep.
Like
I mean, to
all of us,
point
our
that
heads were on the
we,
window.
if
like
the car didn't honk behind
Behind
us,
us.
we would have
We
been
was
out
yeah, we was
for the rest of the morning.
it had to be
We
about
was
6
out.
o'clock in the morning.
And the car's like, wah, wah,
Bro,
wah,
what?
What? Oh, I'm going.
Oh man, that's
Yo,
some funny
good
stuff.
times, man. Good times.
But the ride back with Shagan driving,
Yo, he scared the
we
shit
wanted
out
to
of
fall
us.
asleep, but he was doing 90 in a car that was only built to do 60.
And, yo, in a car
like,
that was uninsured,
Uninsured,
no license,
just
but
fixed
brand
the
new
brakes.
brand new brakes.
but it wasn't even done like really professional. It was some dude on a corner. Come on, keep it real.
Yeah, we were
All he did was change the brake pad.
yeah,
Not like he did a real master mechanic job. So, you know, $50, you get what you paid for. That thing could have popped at any time. And Shagan was
lift your
doing
feet.
95. Oh, that was another night, at another party. That car, I will say one thing about that car. I love that car. Like I said, it was an 81 Honda Accord. It got us to gym night. It got us to a whole bunch of parties. I broke that car. I was at a party at St. John's. It's like, again, 5 o'clock in the morning. We were in Brooklyn.
We all fell asleep.
We all fell asleep. I had like 7 people in a car that was only built for 4. Went over a railroad crossing.
Yeah.
The car was so weighted down, and it was a hump that the exhaust pipe hooked onto the track and ripped out the entire exhaust system from the engine all the way to the back and ruptured my gas tank.
That was the end of the
Full
car.
tank of gas. The damn muffler is sparking. We're leaking gas. Had I drove 2 more seconds, we would have all been dead.
Yo, Shagan said he was praying when he was driving.
Yeah, so were we. So were we, like, oh Lord. I was sitting in the front with him like this.
Shagan, you got a
Shagan.
birthday coming up,
Shagan, man,
man.
relax, bro.
26. Happy birthday,
Happy
yo.
birthday, man.
Happy birthday. Happy
26. Yeah, you think I forgot? Yeah, I don't forget. We might not have talked in a long time,
birthday.
but you know.
There's a lot of history in these 3 chairs and this guy who's
The 2 guys.
Two
Peter
guys.
Wayne's on here too, so
Peter.
yeah.
If Peter's
My boy
still
Sean,
around.
Sheila. I mean,
Sheila!
these are people that have been around, you know, with us for so many years. It's amazing, and it's crazy because you pick up. It's wild that we could pick up like we just saw each other,
Yeah,
you know, like last week or something like
But we
that.
see each other all the time. Be on Facebook.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's what is the what if question? What do you think at this point, if things would have went the direction it should have gone, where do you think we would have been right now?
Either dead or in jail.
That's you.
Like,
Well, here's the thing.
hey, bruh.
Here's the thing.
It's you, bro. I leave a righteous
yo,
life.
We need to be rich or dead, bro. Like that's no question in my mind. We're irresponsible.
The things that I you know,
I would be
that
bankrupt.
question is weird because would you have, you know, your kids? Would you have yours? Would I have mine?
I'd have
a lot of kids.
Country.
I would have
Just call me Miles Marley, bro.
I'd have, yeah,
So, come on.
little Swiss-looking babies.
It's right there at the bottom of the screen. 732
955-4931. 732-955-4931.
It's you know, who knows, man? I mean, if I wouldn't, everybody played their different part, you know, in keeping things stable or destabilizing things. You know,
Okay,
Me-
I was
me-
waiting for that dirty look.
me leaving stabilized yours as a group, you know, performance wise, but could it have affected other things as far as, you know, just us keeping a certain way of thinking? I don't know. I mean, I remember what you told me your mom told you one day.
Now we found out who was
What's
black.
she say?
No, you told me your mom's had a dream that I left the group. And you told me your mom's had a dream that I left the group. And, oh, man. Oh, hold on.
Shay Jazz calling in.
Can you get that on there?
Yeah.
Hello?
Shay, yeah.
Shay.
Shay Jazz, I hear you, man.
What up, man?
Oh, my goodness, bro.
There goes Shay. Can
The
y'all hear
nasty
Shay again?
Nigerian.
Just
What up?
somebody say Shay.
Yeah, tell somebody. Yeah, y'all.
Can y'all hear Shay again?
Shay.
No, it's nasty Nigerian.
Brother,
I heard Shay Jazz.
how long you been? I've been talking to you so long.
And we're starting.
Shay Jazz, bro.
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Blessed.
You know, sitting
Yeah,
here.
that's wild. I haven't heard your voice in like 20 something years.
For real,
bro.
man.
Yeah, that's wild.
How's everything with you, man?
Bro.
Yeah.
Your family, everybody's good. How's Boomy? Boo. Your sister, your brother, everybody. Are you serious? Wow. Oh, Sheila says she can't hear him. Hold up.
You can't hear him, Sheila? Hold on.
Is that a mute button, the red?
No, that's mute. It should be on. You should be able to hear him. Say something else.
Count to 10, Shagan. Actually, sing Be Mine.
Sing Be Mine.
Sing
I
Be
thought
Mine. There
I
you go.
told you.
Oh, she got it. Yeah, she got it. Nah,
Of course, man. Yo, we sang it like you missed the story about when we were split decision when we sang that. You know, when we were auditioning for the Vampire in Brooklyn Eddie Murphy movie, and John being who.
we snuck in and
Out in Jersey,
we like,
we
yep,
snuck
that's
in.
us.
Yeah, that's us. That's
Yeah,
us.
I said that was stanking my voice too. Yo, man, we split decision.
Yeah, he did. He said it hard. Which, you know, that's how John was. John's a hustler. He made it believable.
Made the bullshit believable.
you know, talking about Be Mine. You know Craig Pass, right? Yeah. Yeah, he was doing his poetry. He was sick for a minute, you know, and you know, I didn't find out till like 2 months later when I tried to contact him and I saw his girl was like, you know, rest in peace. I was like, oh, you know, that's crazy. But it was saying that, you know, Craig wrote that song. That song was interesting, man. But yeah, we definitely that wasn't the yeah, Craig.
I'm getting a glass of wine. I can't hear him at all. Sheila still can't hear him.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yo, man, this shit's broke.
Yo, Sean, can you hear this conversation? Sean, if you still there.
Yo, Shagan, what was that song that you and John wrote that I love?
Open.
Oh, you got me open. Thank you. That's what it was.
I was trying, and I was literally thinking about the song today, and I was trying to remember the second verse. But I think you wrote the first verse. I wrote the second verse.
Right.
I know it was like, I only known you for a moment, but the feelings are very clear. My eyes won't lie.
Hate that line.
What I say is so sincere. You got me open.
You got me open.
Yeah.
You got me open.
So you can't hear him either. This is crazy. Hold
The
on.
second verse, when I first saw you, it was love at first sight. Something. Oh man, I can't remember past that though.
Check the connect. See if you got the connect.
Yeah, we wrote that song over the phone. And then you came to Parkchester, you came to my apartment and we finished it. But we started it on the phone, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, so we never told the story of how I got into the group because me and Shagan went to high school with each other. We used to sing with each other in high school. What was the name of the group that we were in with Lisa? Our little doo-wop group. What was the name of the other girl? It was me, you, Lisa, and I forgot that girl's name. And Lisa wrote the songs, and we did a show in Southern Boulevard.
Yeah, no, we still here. Frank is trying to
I'm trying to find out why they can't hear you.
Well, good thing no one else called in.
Sean, you still can't hear? Let me know if you can
finally
hear
know.
shaking.
LOL, brother, sound good.
We talking about you.
To me? What?
What you were singing when you was doing your
Also,
What? Shut. Ada. Goodbye. Doesn't need a thing to you. There, another inside joke.
Shaking, say something again. I just want to see if this guy can hear you. I'm trying to figure out why we can't hear you out there. Like we can hear you, but
count to 10, Shay.
Out.
I see the signal. I see the signal on the thing for the phone. Is it plugged in properly in the back?
Yeah, I think we got it now.
Who's singing? Was that?
That was us just now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it sounds
We're
like
on
delay.
delay. He actually did put us on delay.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
Sean,
And it was like 20 seconds.
No, it's not 20 seconds. But I think now I didn't see it before. I didn't see
The signal.
the signal before.
So y'all hear shaking now?
We can hear you.
We hear you, but nobody
We're trying to make
out
sure
there
saying
hears.
that all the people in
TV
people
land.
Wow, shaking. Dang.
I mean, shaking.
I think the last time I saw you was when you lived on 146 and 7.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the last time I saw you. Wow, that's crazy. That's a long time ago, cause yeah, a long time ago. That's over. Damn, that's over 20 years. It's even longer than 20 years.
And you're still in New York now, right, Trey?
Saying still no shaking.
Oh, you're in Queens. My mom's in Queens.
Yeah, what part of Queens you in?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
My mom's is in
not
Elmhurst.
too far from Springfield. Yeah, I'll be out there, bro.
Yeah, Miles is from Queens now.
No, I'm never from
Yes,
Queens.
Miles is from Queens now.
I'm never from Queens.
I'm
I'm out there.
never from Queens. Get that bass out your voice, bro.
I'm out there.
I'm never from Queens.
Like for real, shaking. So off of Springfield, you know Nashville Boulevard?
See, he's from Queens. Yeah, you on that border.
Oh, you okay? I know where you're at. So you know Nashville Boulevard off of Francis Lewis? Yeah,
That's where Miles lives.
absolutely. So we'll link up.
Get some
I've been
Asiago
far too
omelets.
long.
Yeah, we gotta. It'd be nice. It'd definitely be nice for us to get together.
Yeah, I tagged you on the one today or yesterday. Right? Yeah, I said, let me tag him on it because I put the picture up to see if I can promote the show. And then I said, I tagged Frank, I tagged Miles. And I'm like, I got to tag, Shay and see if he comes out of the woodworks. And sure enough, man, it's good hearing from you.
It's so crazy.
How old are your daughters now?
Where we still have the house around the corner from Springfield High. Oh, stop playing.
Wow. Wow.
Wait, how many damn kids you got, B?
4.
You got
You
4?
got 4 kids now? Wow.
You and Nisi, y'all tore the shit up, huh? Woo. So we knew y'all win.
Had
We
we
knew
gone
y'all
on
win.
tour,
Yo, bro, we knew y'all win. So you know what I'm saying? Like y'all did the damn thing.
I remember Shay. Tony called me. I speak to Tony every now and then. Because Tony's the one who brought Shay and introduced him to me. Because I think he used to work at Toys R Us, right?
Good talk.
Yeah, they used to work at Toys R Us together. So Tony brought Shagan to the house. was like, this dude can sing, you know, we're gonna try and do whatever. And we did our little things, the 3-man, and when Tony broke out, you know. Yeah, we used to have it in my house, in my dad's room. We had a keyboard hooked up there.
Does the Bluetooth have to be on?
It shouldn't be.
Can y'all hear shaking now?
Y'all need to just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. But can y'all
Yo, shaking, can you hear yourself on the TV? Can you and Nisi hear yourself on the TV when you talk? Because that's what they're saying. Sure, so no.
That's wow. It's unfortunate.
All right, well, Shagan, give Sheila a call.
Yeah.
So you can
So you can tell her everything you said.
yeah, so you can remake.
Frank shit's broke.
No, I've been making. I've done
Seen
this.
that? Look at him stuttering already.
I've done this with a few people already.
Yeah, we
you
can
know
do
what?
that.
Yeah, we definitely
We
can
can
do that.
have a rehearsal. Call up Maria. Be like, yo, Maria, we want to perform.
Yo,
But
call
she's still
Dame
doing
Dash.
showcases. Yeah, I'll be in none of that. Get back in the studio and yo, Peter Wayne. There'll be a 5-man group. It'll be like New Edition.
Be like the 5 heartbeats.
Matt Oath.
Yeah.
Oh!
It'll be like,
Oh, man.
she said it's like his volume needs to be raised. Shay Jazz.
You'll still with a hand on Shay Jazz.
Shay Jazz.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Great drops would fall.
Oh.
No, it's like this.
Hey yo, Shay, go home, man. Yo, Shay, go home.
Yo.
I look like I got
Still wearing the shiny jacket.
Yo, but Shaky, that was the song that we sang at Sweetwater's, yo. We sang
Hot as a House.
A Heart as a House from the 5 Heartbeats.
I'm a cut you. We didn't sing that at Sweetwater's.
No, we did not.
We sang
No,
that
we
at
did
the
not.
New Music Seminar.
Yes, we didn't sing that song till after.
We sang that at New Music Seminar.
Y'all are wildin'.
No.
Want me to tell you why y'all are wildin'?
Why?
Because I got
CRS.
the shit on
I got the show too.
Play it.
I got the show too. Yeah.
And you're telling me we didn't sing? We sang A Heart as a House.
No, we did.
Yeah, we did not.
Did, yo.
No, we did not.
Shaking. I know they can't
Shaking
hear
Sweetwater's. We sang A Heart as a House. That was part of the first half hour.
No, we did. Shy. We did. We did Be Mine.
CRS.
We did.
A Heart as a House. Is there a heart? Stand up.
Oh yeah, we did
Stand
do
up.
that.
I know we fucking
Did it?
Yes, we did.
He was Eddie.
Yo, damn, son.
We
Like
did.
y'all are wild. Y'all, like,
But I don't remember doing that song.
but we
I
did
know
it.
we did. The Still of the Night. We did Be Mine. We did.
Which intro song did we do?
We did on Let Me Be the
Let
One.
me be here.
We did Shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to come running.
Yeah.
That was a part that we improvised and put
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. Because the way the track is different than the actual
We
song.
sang on the down low. I will
Yeah.
tell you will tell. Keep it on the
We
DL.
said down low. We did
We can make it really swell.
We did Brandon's Side.
This is W Live when
And the
you
dude-
lose your
And whoever was filming, he was doing ad libs. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He's watching it going, they should be doing this.
They should be doing this. You got that tape still?
I got that tape somewhere.
Yeah,
Let
I
me tell
got
you,
it
see,
too.
I'm gonna show you something. You see this right here?
Yeah.
On the floor, I have a VHS player.
Yeah, I got mine.
And what I
Well,
was
you got a
gonna do,
Betamax.
I
You
was
still got all your
looking-
same equipment?
I was looking
All stuff?
for
I got it.
the tape.
Like the laser disc one?
I couldn't find it.
Still got that?
But I was
You
looking. That's
couldn't
what I was
find
gonna. Yeah, I could. It's somewhere in my garage.
I got it too, and I thought about it after the fact. I got I got all those videotapes, that whole show. Because my locks are down my back, but when
Right.
we did that show, they were right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
They were like,
Oh yeah,
they were,
you did start that then. That's
Yeah,
right.
we're right
That's
here.
right.
started because that's when when me and John walked around looking like crisscross.
Yeah, with the red, yellow, and
With
green.
them rubber bands, in our heads.
Rubber bands.
We had on the show, the second half of that show at Sweetwater's, we came out with the cross colors and bandanas. I had the purple bandana, He had the bandana on.
Right. Yo, Sean,
Purple's
this
still my color.
was your Eddie Kane right here. That's whose part was Eddie Kane. He was the lead singer for that Hard as a House or whatever. Yeah.
Shay, you still there?
Oh, damn.
You still there?
Nah,
He's
he
not
not
still
there.
there.
Oh, damn.
It's all good.
He can hear us.
They couldn't hear his ass anyway.
Yeah.
We look like a bunch of clowns.
Just talking, right?
What?
Yeah.
Remember we were gonna name our group a bunch of niggas singing?
Bunch of niggas singing.
Oh,
VNS.
God.
VNS.
Yo,
Why don't we just
let's
call
talk-
ourselves a bunch of niggas singing?
Yo, let's talk about like what goes into naming a group.
What goes into naming the group is a lot of stupidity,
Yo,
jokes,
Mhm.
bunch of
and then
niggas
somewhere
singing.
along the line somebody says something that's like,
Because remember, y'all didn't want to use business and pleasure.
Because that shit was corny as fuck.
No, it wasn't corny as fuck. It was the name of a group I was in prior. And you were like, why would we call ourselves?
hopefully they can hear you. I think Sean
He said it was corny, but he went with the name.
Yo, because
Business and pleasure.
At the
It don't
time,
make no
at
sense.
the time that we did that, it was two names. We were saying Shagan had said red, yellow, and blues.
No, that
And
was
then-
way
And then
after.
we were eating. We were sitting down in
we
a
sure
fast
we
food
were eating.
restaurant.
Yes, we were.
And we were going to the box and we were trying to decide. We were like, okay, we got red, yellow, and blues, and then you was like business and pleasure. And we just couldn't figure out. We were like, red, yellow, and blues is kind of interesting, but what will we do? Like, what will be the
Right.
concept? Like, will we wear red, yellow, and then blue?
Right.
You know, so
Right.
then we
It sounds too American. It sounds too.
And then, and the reason why I keep saying that business and pleasure was corny is because, and this I thought about this, coming here as well, because like why we didn't make the things that we did wrong
right.
and the things that we did right. And one of the things that we totally did wrong was name ourselves business and pleasure. And no,
People
honestly,
were feeling it, though.
no, they were feeling it, but we weren't feeling it. And we could never come up with like a real image on what we were. That's why I always revert back to wearing overalls with a button-down shirt and a tie, and we were calling
business and pleasure, casual
which
with a
is
button
dumb as fuck.
You dumb as fuck.
That's
Okay.
and we what was
Matter of
the name
fact,
that
I'm
spot?
starting a new group. Anybody out there that's listening that
Yo.
wants to start a group with me, we're gonna revamp business and pleasure.
Yo, right, yo, Shay. It was just like we couldn't come up with a concept. Shagan was the only consistent dude.
Yeah, because he was jazzy.
And he not only was he jazzy, but he always dressed the part. Like
Yeah.
even if you look at that picture,
He said that was his shirt.
Well, what I'm saying, right? But he always came with shoes. We barely ever. I think the first time we saw Shagan in sneakers, we was like,
You got sneakers?
And I was all over the place because I would come from work. I would come with the crazy suits.
yeah.
And sometimes I would be casual. And it's, so, we
I was
So
just all
business
over
and
the
pleasure
place.
was stupid because we just couldn't. And that's the other thing that I'm thinking about, like why we didn't make it. The one thing that we had no sense of anything was marketing.
right.
And that is all the music industry is. Like when I look back at these like Tupac documentaries and all this kind of stuff, and like we didn't have a message really. We just wanted to be out there with a suitcase full of condoms. we had like really no like we didn't have a plan.
Yeah,
of
we even
how-
tried. We tried to do that with
with red, yellow, and blues with
No.
Catch a Rib.
that. Don't talk about the business is our pleasure.
Yes. And pleasure is our business.
Yeah, we came up with a song. We had no.
Didn't we finish the
concept.
Sweetwater show off with that?
Yeah, because the end of business.
It's
is
our pleasure. That's how it ends it.
Yeah,
It's up. Yo, that name was hot. I don't care. I stand
Nah, it
by. I
was
stand by.
corny as fuck, yo. It was too much thinking. We had
Oh,
too much
man.
thinking.
But even Diverse kind of got a little too
Diverse was,
explaining. But Diverse was a dope name. I love
Diverse was dope because of the way that it broke down.
it. Yeah, and the way it was
And the way
spelled.
that we spelled. No, don't put it out there.
I'm not putting
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
No.
But it had like several different meanings. And the other thing that I loved about like what it was that we did, right, was and we talked about this. We talked about our nationalities.
Right.
Shagan was African,
Right.
right? And I was African American, and then John was half African American, half Puerto Rican, and you Puerto Rican. So that was like the the line. So Puerto Rican goes into Puerto Rican, and African American goes into African
Where are you
American.
going with this?
African goes into African.
We
Y'all don't remember?
trying
You
to
don't
find
remember
the
that
identity.
conversation?
Yeah, trying to find.
We were just trying to find like an identity. CRS. Nigga, you don't
That
remember
was
shit.
no. That sounds stupid.
That's what we did though. We had that conversation.
We had that conversation.
We had that conversation.
But
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
yeah,
Right.
and that's how that name became natural.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how that. Yes. Yes.
That was like a natural progression to go into
Yeah.
that name. And that's why it fit, because that was the identity.
And it
That was
took
the true
years
identity.
to come to that.
Right, but that was right. We had to build to that.
But Business and Pleasure did work for a while.
Business and Pleasure was interesting. It would have been better if we would have been able to actually come up with the conceptual vision of what we tried to do.
But I will tell you this: the group that I was originally in, that was called Business and
Who he stole
Pleasure.
the name from.
Yeah, I did steal the name. It worked better for us than it did for that group. Way better. Like, we had one guy that wanted to be a rapper. He looked like he was like 80 years old, still trying to rap. We had one guy that sounded like the lead singer from Surface. Every time he sang, he sounded like the lead singer from Surface. And it irked the hell out of me. Then it was me, and then it was this other guy, and it was like, and I remember he came to one of our shows, and he was like, "Business and Pleasure, huh? Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, well,
Stop being you.
yeah, well, yeah." It was open.
Oh man,
Yeah, we tried.
But to touch on what Miles was saying, there's so many things that go into creating a name and creating an image and just a pathway where you're going to go to. You can make a wrong turn in so many different
We made a ton
areas.
of them.
You know, we made a ton of them. We did some things.
A lot of things right and a lot of things wrong.
People liked us. That was the one thing that you can't make people like you, in the sense that
But they didn't
genuinely
get it.
they were like, those are good dudes. And I think that made people want to help us, but we couldn't really help ourselves.
Right.
You know, until you got past, you got rid of some baggage or got rid of some habits, and, things took their course. But, it just goes to show you, it's probably a lot of people that have the same story that we have, that were dealing with different people and then dealing with different artists and got right to that point, but just couldn't get over the hump, He said, true identity. He said, that's the name of the group right there.
Sure, it is. That is. Yo, that's dude.
Can people hear shaking now?
Yeah, if Sean, if you can hear him Dap, if you can hear him, just let him know. I can't call him Sean, I call him Dap. I'll never call him that boy Sean.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, I was thinking about it, and then I almost ventured out to like saying I'm going to say it. I was just like, we wasn't really any good for each other, right? Like, because and listen to what I'm saying. It's not that we weren't any good for each other. We were good for each other, but not in the realm of actually taking it to the next level. You get what I'm saying? Like, we probably would have done better. I don't even say better, like, because what happened.
Just the right girl for another man.
We basically, we did what it is that we did. We've got our stories now, and we learned from it. So that was our journey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But when you talk about, like, somebody asked if there's anything that you would do different, you know what I'm saying?
There was something that really could do different. We had to learn.
Yeah, because at the time we didn't know what we were doing. So now there's 1,000 things we could have done different.
Yeah, I mean, you go with the story, and it still doesn't mean, like, say, even if we said, we were sitting here tonight and say, let's do it, it still might be the right combination, even with the things that we learned. You can't always go back. And now that we know
back to the future, nigga.
But I'm saying, sometimes people do like, let's try to relive, let's try to do that, and I don't think you could ever go back and recapture that particular moment. Maybe you can go forward and do some different type of, collaboration, but it'll never be that group thing that we were trying to do at that time. I think, it could be a different manifestation. It could be writing together. It could be producing together. But aside from the fact that we just all old, what I mean? But it can't be that again. Yeah. But it could be something new, and that's what sometimes too. When you say people are not good for each other, it's also dependent on that that time in your life where
The time of the night.
on break. You need a clue for what to do. You know, it's super sick.
Wow. That's a Frank line.
I keep it simple, man. I talk to you like you're a 2-year-old.
Swimmer six.
So
Wow.
here's a question for the four of us. All right, all the things that we've done, if they invented time travel, what specific day would you go back to and relive?
Oh my God. Shit. What specific day would I go back to and relive?
I can't say mine. My son is on the thing.
You talking about musically?
Well, yeah,
Okay,
with us,
you know.
yeah, with just group, with music. Yeah.
I would go. Ooh, that's a good one. What day would I go back to?
All right, we'll get back to you.
I would go back to the day that I had decided that I was gonna try to leave before y'all got rid of me, and maybe came to y'all and talked about what I could do differently. Like, what can I like? I know you guys are not really feeling me right now, and I'm kind of not even feeling the situation. But before we make this break, because we broke off over the phone. We didn't even see each other. That happened. It happened over the phone.
Yeah.
So that would be my regret, not to see y'all face to face and really find out if we could like fix whatever it was that was going on and move on from there.
Because imagine you could have still wrote for us.
I mean, whatever. It's just that the fact that that's something that after what we had gone through, being able to do it face to face should have been the way it was done, and not.
That was crazy too, because we went through an audition process after that. Right?
We had an application and everything.
And we put an ad, and we put an ad
in backstage.
Yo, you know
because
what
the
I'm
voice
thinking
of backstage.
One of these microphones can't be used when the phone is being used.
Nah, it's just I've had like, it's usually I have not usually, but I have my son and Buddha. It's all three of us. We host the show, and we've had people call it. I've had my brother.
Just didn't want Sagan to be in.
I got to figure out that, because that's disappointing. They couldn't hear that at all.
He's calling that. But it's one of them things too. Yeah, we had to open auditions. If there was a time that it wouldn't be with a time with Frank. It would have been a time with Sheila, and like when Diverse like came through, which is all of this is an accumulation of it. Just the whole deal with Rockefeller. Like Sheila tried to tell us, like, for real. And like that whole situation, like I almost feel like they didn't trust us and we didn't trust them, and that shit wasn't really going nowhere, right? Because I remember I took the lead on this, and I won't say it was a regret, it's something that you learn from, was us trying to establish our own like entity, lawyers and stuff like that, right? And I remember Sheila saying, yo, fuck that, I can get this shit negotiated right away, boom, boom, boom. And it was adamant, like, nah, we need our own. And Sheila even said, she was like, yo, y'all got to get this shit signed right away. You got to get it signed right away, in order for this shit to like really go down. And she's like, you take the time. If you take time, this shit is not going to go down. Right? Like basically she said it, and lo and behold, she was 1,000% right. Because what people don't realize, or what we didn't tell them, is that when we got the demo deal with Rockefeller, they gave us reasonable doubt on promo copies.
Wow.
Like that's how
Early in the game.
That's how ground up we were. That office was still on John Street, right? And where we got lost, and when the whole shit fell through, was when they went from Priority, because that's what they're on, to Def Jam. So that, and had we signed that deal, you know what I mean? It was a demo deal. And Dame, like, I don't care what anybody out there got to say about Dame. Like, I'm team Dame and Dash. Right?
Facts.
When that whole thing went down and we were sitting in the office and they were trying to come up with the contract, right? Dude got his lawyer on the phone and he had him on speakerphone. And he put dude on speakerphone, and dude, it was us saying Woods, right? Rest in peace to both of them, which is crazy, but that's a whole nother story. but what happened was one of the lawyers was like, "Yo, we could have him signed for like 90 days," and Dan was like, "Yo, I don't need 90 days. You can give me 5. Like I'll know in a week. You know what I mean? Give me a month. Like it don't. You take that." And like the lawyer was working for Dane. And Dane was kind of like, he wasn't working for us, but he wasn't trying to hem us up.
Right, he wasn't trying to be like, well, you outside for 2-year contract.
You
And
understand?
one of the
He
things,
wasn't
if
trying.
remember, one of the problems that Dane was having with us was, like you
Image.
said earlier, I don't get it.
Image.
Like what? Like I look at y'all, like what do y'all do?
Image.
But remember, we used to do shows and we would go up on a stage all hip hopped out, and you know, and then do fucking R&B songs. But then let's look back to the Jodeci's, the Jagged Edges. They look like a bunch of
but they I think anyway, they just had a problem with our image, and what we used to say was, "Yo, this is so stupid." We were like, "Yo, we look like rappers, but we singers."
Sound like
for Frotown. Yo, but that's what we used to say. We'd be like, "Yo, we look like people look at us and they think we rappers." Right. Right.
But
that goes to the point of like not really knowing like what the hell we really wanted to do other than have a suitcase full of condoms and being on the road. Like
Sheila asked, what's the producer that they were gonna put you guys in with?
I don't remember, yo.
It never got that far.
Yeah, I don't even think it got that far, sure. Like it was because we never signed the deal. You know what I mean? We never signed the deal, so we got lost. And I remember that actually broke the spirit, right? And that's why I kept thinking that Shagan wasn't at the Apollo, but he says he was. He says he was. But I remember it broke the spirits. But I just don't. Then Shagan left right after the Apollo. That's when Shagan left, and that's when the group whole thing was just like it was obliterated after that. But then me, John, and Peter Wayne, we were just like, yo, we should like do this 3-man group.
Change our name.
Yeah, we changed our name to like Big Man.
Yeah.
Because we all were bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we wasn't looking like 112, which was out at the time. I felt like the groups just started getting younger and younger.
Right.
And we started getting older and older, right?
Thicker and thicker.
Yeah. So it was kind of like we tried to change our name. We went to the studio. That's when we recorded. Shagan was down with Cool when we recorded Cool or whatever. Shagan was definitely
you were down with Cool, right?
Yeah, he was definitely down with Cool. I don't think it's Cool, because he was on like we would go do things, bad things, shorty.
Yeah.
Right. And Shagan was always good for that. Like the ad lib, like Shagan with his ad libs, they would be in a different kind of pocket.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like
our Mike from Boyz II Men.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
He is Johnny.
Yeah,
like they just don't hold up the element.
He would put it in the pocket. So that's what I kind of remember. Like if we said do things, he came on he was on the 1 and the 3.
This is according to Sheila.
Yeah, I know. She said
Just Blaze.
Was it fucking Just Blaze?
We did have the opportunity to work with him. I kind of fucked up Just Blaze.
Was it Just Blaze, yo? Shit, for real. Cause that came, Just Blaze came into my lexicon back when I started managing artists.
She said, "Yep,
yo, that's crazy." Yo.
And I think Rockwilder was another one. It was Rockwilder that I fucked up on. I remember I was driving down like 8th Avenue.
At least I was the only one.
No.
Just hurt my heart, yo.
What happened with Rockwilder was I was on the phone with Rockwilder and my phone kept dropping. And I go, "Hey, Rock, yo, hey, I'm sorry, man. Yo, man." He's like, "Yo, check this out, bro. Like, I'd love to hear what you have to say, but call me when you get a better phone plan." Click. I'm like, okay.
Yo, Sheila, like
when
I'm telling you hurt my heart with that, with Just Blaze, because what wound up happening like later when I started working with artists and stuff, Just Blaze had he was part of a studio in Harlem, and y'all might have went to that studio with me. It was a Harlematic. It was Ornette Coleman's old studio on 125th Street and Park Avenue. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't this group. Again.
What a whore. Mom's a little slut.
And And yeah, my man Ariel, who's like one of the top engineers in the game, he knew Just Blaze, and they had a studio called Stadium Red.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all familiar with Stadium Red, and that Ariel was very instrumental in having Just Blaze move into that studio. And when Just Blaze built the studio, the shit was crazy. He built it like R2D2.
Yeah.
So like the whole studio looked like R2D2, and he had an R2D2. You know what else he had? The motherfucker, when you walked into the door, he had a flux capacitor.
Stop. You're going back.
I'm not lying, yo. He had a flux capacitor. And if you look at Darian's first video,
He was in the video, yeah.
Just Blaze was in that video.
He walked in as you were.
We shot.
And Miles Jr. was in that video as well.
Yes, we shot that video. We shot that video at Stadium Red because of the hookup that I had. And also, who was in that video, who I went on to manage, was Margot B. She was the love interest of Darian.
Big shout out to Margot B.
Who was the love interest of Darian
Pittsburgh,
in that
baby.
video before she blew up to where she is now.
Right,
you know.
right.
Now for the Margot Bingham, she's on Walking Dead now. You know, she was in Barbershop 3. She was in Boardwalk Empire. You know, list goes on. I can't even remember all the stuff that
she was in the TV series that She's Gotta Have It.
Oh yeah, the Spike Lee She's Gotta Have It.
I started watching her was when
New Amsterdam.
Played the cop.
Oh yeah, that was the family.
Yeah,
that was dope. And it only lasted one season. I was so upset, man. They messed up on that one because they had us on the final episode. Was like, yo, and then now we left hanging.
Wasn't she in Barbershop also?
Yeah, she was in Barbershop 3. So yeah, so Sheila, man, you hurt me with that Just Blaze shit. Oh my God.
Question: who are some of the people that you remember? And we're gonna have to wrap this up soon.
Nah, nigga, we here.
he drove 45 miles.
All right,
I'm gonna get my 45 miles out of this.
And I took an Uber here. And didn't you say something about pizza?
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I got him out.
Who are some of the people that we've either crossed paths with, or performed on the same stage with, that went on to become, like Tracy Morgan?
Yeah.
Yo,
every black comedian.
Yeah, I remember
yes.
Yo, so let me tell that
Tony Terry.
That Tony Terry was who we auditioned for. The Tracy Morgans, yeah, you remember? Because of my homegirl Janae. Remember Janae, who was a member of Sweet Sensation. She's still a member of Sweet Sensation. Shout out to Janae. I met her when I was with For You, and then we crossed paths again, and now we're linked up on the thing about Tracy Morgan when we did that show. First, all right, that's a crazy story. Uncle Jimmy's talent show amateur night, Uncle Jimmy's amateur night. But what
Uptown Comedy Club.
Uptown Comedy, which was your boys, Keith or Kevin or whatever.
Kevin Brown,
right? But
Kevin and Dre Brown.
But what people don't realize, and I'm talking about Uncle Jimmy's. Uncle Jimmy was when Tracy Morgan got into that accident with Walmart and his boy died. That was Uncle Jimmy. Yeah. Right. And he did the amateur night. And it was funny because the amateur night at the comedy club, back in the day, we could talk about BMCC when we did shows at BMCC, who we did with JB Smooth.
Tracy was on that show too.
No, Tracy was in the BMCC. It was Rob Stapleton and JB Smooth at the BMCC.
Tracy Morgan was at the Uptown Comedy Club. Right. That's when we first saw him, and he had the beanie on his head. And when he was like Michael Jackson from the Project, and he ripped his thing, and then he had the sweat sock, the dirty sweat sock for the glove. But that when we did Uncle Jimmy's, remember they always used to do shows with comedians and singers, right? So when we did the amateur night, we were the only singers, and then we made it to the finals. Like we always was making it to the finals for something, right?
And then something would fuck us up.
Yo, now what? I'll tell you what fucked us up.
I remember. So I know where you go.
Crazy, yo. So I remember the dude's name. But what was really crazy? What was crazy is we thought we was like, yo, we got this in the bag, yo. Like we are gonna win this. It was like $500 or something like that.
My boy owns this place. We got this.
Like, yo, we got this. And the person who was supposed to
was late.
He was late.
He was late.
Yo, this motherfucker runs in at the last minute.
And
He brings the full band. We wasn't even talking about band. So remember, this dude sang "Feels Like Another One"
by
by
Patti
Patti
LaBelle.
LaBelle. Yo, this dude,
Yo,
when he hit
every
that,
note.
That was it.
we
left.
we just kind of was like, yo, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. So we ain't get what we thought we got. We ain't get.
Oh man,
Crazy times. But yeah, that's my story, man. Like it was. But you said, who do we come across? Like whose paths do we cross?
like you said,
That's bro.
By Stapleton.
You want to hear a crazy story about that Sweetwater show? You want to hear a crazy story that I go back to? So my boy Adam, his kid that I knew that I went to school with or whatever, he was leaving one day to he was leaving to go to Paris. He was like in films. He was a screenwriter. He was doing all this kind of stuff, right? So I remember his sister lived on like 16th Street and 3rd Avenue, and I went over to the apartment, whatever, this, that, and the other. So when we were leaving, his girlfriend at the time came over. Just listen, listen. His girlfriend came over at the time, right? And then I remember he said to me, he was like, "Yo, you see her?" I was like, "Who, her, your girl?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "She's gonna be a huge star." And I looked at, I was like, "Her?" It's like, the fuck out of here. Crazy as that. But she was like real cool, right? She was real cool. We were talking, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm in a singing group, this, that, and the other. Yo, we got a show coming up at Sweetwater's." She writes down her name and her number, and she says, "Yo, when you do a show, give me a call and I'll come." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, whatever, yeah. So we do the Sweetwater show. We do this, I never call it this, that, and the other. The girlfriend,
right.
who I was like, "Who? Huh?"
Right.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Stop playing.
Really? I never heard this one before.
I still have the paper with her number.
Pack rat.
That says Gwyneth and her number.
Wow.
So here's another thing that I wanted to say about us, just like for real. And it leads into that story about like not really achieving the goals that we had set out to do. And even for myself, like, you know, over the years, you know, aging, getting older and thinking, reflecting and all that shit, right? The one thing for me, and I also think it's reflective for us, is that we never asked, right? And when I say we never asked, I think there comes a time where like let's take the R. Kelly lawsuit thing, right? We're like, "Oh no, we don't want to do that because it's going to ruffle feathers."
Right.
Fuck feathers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we weren't disruptors. That's the big word now, right? Like all these technology companies coming in, they're disruptors. Oh, we're gonna kill Uber. We're gonna get Lyft. We're gonna be a disruptor.
Right.
We weren't disruptors,
Yeah.
and we weren't people who asked, because even when we went down to Rockefeller Records with Sheila, and this is the thing with Sheila was like, I remember, and this isn't her fault or isn't our fault, and it's no blame or anything, but I remember when we were there, before we went there, Sheila was like, "Yo, y'all don't say nothing, y'all be quiet, you know, boom, 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 we'll do this, that, and the other." But in hindsight, in 2020, we didn't have a personality when we were quiet. You understand what I'm saying? So we weren't really like, like you said, we were good dudes, right? Mm-hmm. So we weren't edgy. We weren't, and it's going back to like Sheila and them teaching us like how to perform, trying to teach us how to be edgy, you know, trying to teach us how to do like the things that we should have been doing anyway if we were just ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? So
no one basically let us off the leash. We didn't let ourselves
it was interesting
off the leash, so to speak.
It's like almost you saying like when you get on the stage, we muffled our personalities instead of letting the personalities come out.
Should have always been out. We muffled our personalities when we was in Rockefeller's office. You know what I'm saying? I remember looking And I tell this story to this day. I remember just walking around the office and looking, and I remember this picture was on the wall, you know, and it was Damon. There was somebody
cross or something, right?
That shit was crazy. I looked at the picture.
You went to boarding school?
I was like, yo, I said, who's this? He was like, yo, that's me. I said, you play lacrosse? He was like, yeah, yeah. And then I looked again. I was like, you went to boarding school? He was like, yeah, but I was mad hood. And the other person who played lacrosse that we found out, at least I found out later, was Method Man. Right. Method Man's a lacrosse player. He played in Long Island when he was going back and forth. So it's kind of just interesting how, like, just being, like you said, being muffled. And we weren't really muffled. They didn't muffle us, but we were just trying to be, here it is. We were trying to be politically correct in an industry
that you don't need to be
fucking
politically correct.
Yeah. It's kind of like when we went down to that was Frank. Were you in the meeting when we went down to East Side Studios or East West Studios down on 23rd Street? And when we walked in, the dude was like, John was the only one that looked like an artist, because this is when John had on these like
I used to wear the onks all the time.
Yeah, but it was the big thick beads or whatever. And we went there to audition. His name was Joe Kitness.
Was it the same one that said what is business and pleasure?
Yes, he was like, "What are y'all?"
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yo, y'all don't have a look." He's like, "Look at you." He pointed to me. He's like, "You look like a college kid." And he's like, "The only one that looks like an artist is this guy, because he had on the beads, he had on the onk, he came in, you know, he had the attitude, this, that, and the other." But that was part of what I'm saying. Like,
and that's the reason why I remember when we were like going to play. I'm like, look, your name's not Frank. Yo, your name is Dez.
Agreed. That
your name is Jazz. Your name is Milo. Whatever. Call me. Do not call me John. I'm fucking Harmony.
Right.
You know, stick to your identity. You don't see anybody do. All right, my name is Clifford. I go by Method Man. No.
That's something that I took with me in working with the other artists. We would tell artists, listen, when you're out there, that personality, that edge,
that's persona, who you are.
You know, that's what you got to be. That's what you got to
do.
A
Coke is always going to say Coke on the can.
It's
not going to say cola. It's going to say Coke. Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, especially since those days of people trying to make you, you know.
That's over. That's a wrap. And then you don't really need that now because the internet has leveled the game. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Uber made New York City a okay city because now Uber's everywhere, right? So the thing that really made New York the best place is that we had 24-hour transportation all the time.
Right. And we can do that now over here.
Y'all ain't special.
I think, you know, tapping on the question that I asked before, I think one of the things that I regret, and I remember having a meeting. No regrets, but I had a meeting and the person was like, so are you the artist or are you the manager? Like, who are you? Mm-hmm. And they told me straight, it's like, look, if you're an artist, be an artist. Mm-hmm. If you're a manager, then be a manager. You can't be both. If you're an artist, stick to your craft, and that's where your concentration should be. And that's one of the things that we did wrong until we met Sheila, you know, and other people that actually took an interest. That took an interest in actually wanting to work with us.
We didn't have any.
We relied on Miles to manage us.
We didn't have any idea, like you said, Miles. When you talked about marketing and stuff, we didn't have any idea about that. We know about that. We know what to do with that. We know how to create an image, how to build a foundation.
I had ideas. Nobody listened to
me. I mean,
but we were also like, when I think back about it. Like, you know, I studied the game. I would stay on the TV and I would listen to everybody's story, and I still do that to this day. We were getting the clues. Like, when I think back to when Puff got his label, right? And remember, and they depicted it in the Biggie movie, right? When he got the deal with Clive. You remember his marketing thing? His marketing thing
Big Mac
was the Big Mac. Biggie and Craig Mack. Like, so he had the marketing thing. Like, that was
genius.
That's what we lacked. We didn't know. That's why I always say business and pleasure was whack, because we couldn't. And
I'll say this: one of the takeaways that I got from Miles, and I'll say this, you know, humbly. We would go to the movies, and I'm like, yo, the movie's over. Let's go. He goes, no, chill. He would sit there to watch the credits,
right, to see who's doing what.
And I'm like, why? He goes, sit down, and we would sit there. He goes, I know that the key grip. I know him. He went to my boarding school, and even to this day, I read credits because you never know who you know, or like you said, cross paths with.
But I will tell you, I can't take the credit for that. Like somebody passed that down to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember this brother named Dwayne Snipes, who lives around my way now. He was in a member of the Harlem Boys Choir. And one of the first demos I ever sang on was his song, and it was called "Let the Night Begin." Every time I say him, I go, "Let the night begin." You know, he was like
annoying.
He was like straight like Lutherish, right, or whatever. And I remember he was the guy who put me on to like producers and stuff like that. He'd be like, he'd say something like Fonzie Thornton, which was Luther's like guy, right? And I'd be like, "Who's Fonzie Thornton?" He was like, "You don't know who Fonzie Thornton is?" He'd be like, "Yeah." I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Yo, you don't read album credits?" And I was like, "Yeah, nah." He was like, "Nah." He was like, "Yo, you got to read album credits." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Because you could be standing next to the motherfucker and not even know."
That's one of the things I love about Peter.
Yeah. Oh, Peter's
he's a freaking savant. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's Pat of the Bell, written by such and such. It was done in a downtown studio." Like
when we first met Peter, I asked him for ID because I didn't believe the motherfucker was like 21. I was like, "Bro, you're not 21, bro." Because he had all this like 50s, 60s
his knowledge was sickening.
It was crazy. I asked him for ID, yo. I was like, "Yo, let me see your ID."
Like, I know that's your studio, your industry age, but how old are you, dude?
Yeah, like for real.
You saying that so you can get into the clubs because you're probably like 30.
But I still do that to this day, and there's tons of people that like Lenny Bass. Like John will remember Lenny Bass. Lenny Bass became like a big, video director. He's doing documentaries and all that kind of stuff. I remember one night I was watching something. I don't even remember what it is now. And it was something, and then all of a sudden it went by and said Lenny Bass. And this was recently, and I just like hit him up. I was like, "Yo, man, I just saw your name run by credit." Like it also gives you an open door to like connect with people that you haven't really connected with in a while. Like, and I think we even like got on the phone. You know what I mean? And he's like, "Yo, where'd you see that?" And then he told me like this crazy story. I don't remember, because I'm getting like, there's just information that you keep. Yeah, like you keep, and then there's information like whatever the fuck. But the crazy part is that I do remember like the stuff that we all did. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's impactful. Those are years that I'll never forget.
I want to do it so bad, but I can't. I know.
Oh my God, you fucked me up with that.
It's just crazy, man. We're sitting here and going over literally 30 years, almost 20 years worth of stuff. I've been married 26 years. So
you've been married 26. What year was that?
94.
So I met John.
We're going back to almost 30 years.
I met John in 92.
When I was 22, yeah.
I met John in 92, and I remember that because a guy from my original group, Mark, he passed away with AIDS.
Right.
And that was the week he passed away, the week of my birthday. And me and John wasn't close yet. I just met John. Shagan had just introduced us to John. We went to John's house after the Rob Douglas show that we talked about. Because John didn't come to my surprise birthday party, which was something that no. The reason why I remember that is because how we became so close later, that it's just like, wow, because I didn't really know him then.
Right.
We just met him. We just met him.
What am I like?
I don't know.
What am I?
Yeah, right. So that was 92 when we first went on this journey together in 1992.
And it's crazy because it wasn't like, if you hear, you're listening to the stories they were telling. I wasn't even in the group for that long. So it would sound like it was this long, like 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
It was 3 weeks.
That happened in like a year and a half. All those things that happened, those trips, those shows, like a year and a half, because I was married in 94 and I was gone, I moved, we lived together for 2 years. So from 92 to 94, that's the time frame we're talking about. So it's crazy how much stuff happens and how many things are impactful on your journey. And it's wild, man. It's wild to think about that. And we're looking and we're here today, and yeah, you know,
Still
like you said,
talking
about grace of God, man.
we didn't get to do what we wanted to do, but
you know, it was a fun ride, man. You know, I have no regrets.
But here's the
You know?
thing is that we're documenting it, right?
yeah.
Like this is going to be documented. It's going to live on the internet.
For those people that,
Right?
yeah, okay, John,
You
you
know
did.
what
I'm like,
I'm
yo,
saying?
no, this is not, this is
And it's
real.
also, I would say with people, you know, you gotta. There's a lot of people that wake up every day and they're like, oh, I want to do music and it's my passion. It's like
Yo, listen,
it's not a.
don't tell me that. shit.
It's hard, man.
But
It's hard and it's full of potential pitfalls and it's full of but it's also an amazing journey and if you truly love doing that then do it. You know, you might not make it. You might not, but
you know what? I come at a different approach,
Mhm.
right? My approach is if you tell me it, I'm going to
believe that you want it.
I'm going to believe you, and then I'm going to see if you really want it.
Well, that's exactly, you say that, and this is what exactly we have said. Like the last girl that we worked with, amazing talent. She got in the studio the first time, and she was able to record. She can hear, you know, she blended well with her harmonies. She was a good writer. She was a writer that didn't know she was a writer. She would just like think conceptually, like, oh, this is how I feel during the course of the day, and we would be like, well, let's work with that. And she would do that, but then when it came down to, you said you want it, you say this is what you want to do, but I don't think you really understand, you know, what it encompasses. And I don't think that you, and at the end of the day, more people are not really able to do it than are. And that's why, you know, you have 1 million people on Instagram right now. And it's a lot easier to kind of get your word out there. You don't have to, I don't want to say you don't have to work hard because that would be wrong, but you don't have to work as hard to get
You don't even need a record deal no more.
You know, you just go out there. So now there really truly is no excuse to not at least have a platform to try to do something that you're capable of doing. But even still, you still got to really, the sacrifice and the tenacity and the willingness to put yourself out there, that's still the same.
Yeah.
You know, that's still the same. Even when we sit here doing this, you know, I have a great time doing this, and I have a great time being live and possibly looking kind of silly and not being. I don't always prepare for my shows. Good night, man.
Night, Sheila.
Says night.
All right.
Can't hang, huh?
She like, that's enough. We gonna get up soon.
They ain't gonna sing, so I'm hanging up.
Some coffee and noodles.
But it's, you know, it's just crazy, man. But it's a great thing. It's a great thing to reflect on. Like you said, this is gonna be documented and people can look at this. Hopefully they'll look at it.
Yeah, I want a copy of this, by the way.
Absolutely.
That's going to be on.
Yeah,
You put
I
this
know.
on YouTube?
It's on there, and it stays on there, and I'll download the other two. Like I have it. It's right now. It's on my Facebook page, my regular page, my Density page, and my Density YouTube. Those are the 2 pages.
So what does DEN stand for?
Den, you know what Den? No, you don't know what Den stands for.
Look at you.
No, because it's funny because I've always been the Den.
Yeah.
You know, it stands for the Sponsors Entertainment Network.
Okay. We always call it the DEN.
Yeah.
Or
We
the
did the
DES.
Des.
Both.
Den.
Like,
Well,
I've
Den's-
never called them Den.
But the Den, you know, that's- right now the Den has like 3 things under it. It has this. It has Dreamtime Music Group, which never really got to be finished because me and Ed, you know, we were trying to do another.
Oh, hi, Sheila.
Oh, you're back.
Oh no, I was saying night to Sean. I'm working so y'all can talk all night.
You got the porno studio, remember?
Oh, later, Sean. Peace, peace,
man.
peace.
I love you too, baby. Yeah, what the hell was I talking about?
You said documenting and
Yeah, it'll be recorded. And that's what I said. The sponsor of the team network, you got Dreamtime Music Group, which is what we tried to do. Me and Eddie was the last thing we tried to do.
Is Shaker still with us?
yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
It was we were trying to do a nonprofit for kids, and the plan was to teach kids the connections between the R&B and hip hop and what the roots were. You know, where the music came from, what things they originated from. So we wanted to work with kids and bring them into studio and teach them how to do you know, how to do basic setups, you know, how to work with engineering, how to conceptualize writing and stuff like that.
Nigga, how you gonna do that? Your phone don't work.
It works. It works.
I swear it does.
Yo, you threw the pitch.
I'm a dancer, a good dancer.
You know what I'm saying?
Says so me.
I would teach them how to fix it when it goes wrong. Nah,
And this is what you're teaching them because this ain't working.
So then, hey, let me tell you something, man. This thing, when I
No,
started
that's
doing
dope.
this, when I started doing this, it was that little stand with the phone, and it sounded like a mad echo in here.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a game changer right here.
That's definitely dope. I was looking at that. I wound up getting the Zoom 8.6 on this
Okay, I know, yeah.
because it's basically, you know, it's portable.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You can set it up in the studio, but I got it because it was portable. But I was thinking there's also a Zoom H8 something, a
Yeah, I
podcast.
was looking at the
Zoom.
comparisons of the two.
Yeah, you look at the YouTube clips, right? Yeah.
But you know, so that's what the den is about. So, and like I said, in doing this is just for me. It's very freeing. I've always had an issue with confidence and just like putting myself out there. And over the last couple of years, it's taken me a long time to kind of work toward not really giving a fuck.
You finally broke free. You found your lane.
So it's fun, man. It's a good time.
So that well, to piggyback off of you on how like your transition to, you know, from, and it's not really a transition, you're just adding on.
Right. That's still
Right. This is still an adding on. But my transition from like being like a singer and everything, and everybody's like, oh, you still want to sing? I'm like, yeah, nah. You know what I mean? Like that chapter for me is dead.
Right.
Like even like it's so funny. I'll tell you afterwards, but I even spelled diverse a certain way to make sure that shit remains dead in my mind. Like, so you know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like, yeah, it's done. But what I did was I transitioned into like, you know, Sheila said even in there that she still has Darian in rotation.
Right.
You know, I transitioned into artist management with Righteous Music Media. Started off with a partner.
Shameless plug.
Right. I'm talking about him.
Right.
Like, you know, with Righteous, I had a partner, you know, and we split ways, and then boom, and I kept the name and all that, but came up with Righteous Music Media and started working with, you know, independent artists. And I still work with independent artists, but like the game has changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people like to reach out to the artist directly, and depending on the artist, whether or not they'll, you know, management might even be like a thing of the past. You know what I mean? Because the artists are they're trying to take care of their whole career and this, that, and the other. You know, I still don't think that it actually is. But you know,
But
this
you
is
gotta be
just
careful with that.
yeah, you just got to be mindful of who you work with, like straight up, you know. So the people I'm working with, you know, like I mentioned, I worked with Darian, don't work with him anymore. I worked with Margot, I don't work with her anymore. You know, I'm working with an artist outside of in Connecticut named Ramon. We did this campaign last month on Soul Tracks. He wrote a song called "Born to Be a King." You know, and we did he did the original, and then we had somebody do a remix. So that's still kind of making noise here and overseas. You know, I work with Tammy Lucas. Tammy Lucas, I remember. So you know, she just had.
And didn't we end up at Molly Mar's house with her?
That's how we met her.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we met.
I changed that man's tire on his BMW.
So the story is that he just interjected was, like I said, Peter Wayne was a hustler, and we used to go to Def Jam's office all the time, like back, you know, afterwards. And there was a dude named Kenny. Kenny was his name, and Kenny wound up being the driver for Russell Simmons. But Kenny also took interest in us as a group, and he actually took us to Molly Mall's house, and we were at the House of Hits and all that kind of stuff. And during that session, Tammy Lucas was there. And then that was the first time that I met Tammy Lucas. And we and it was interesting because we went to the store together, and then we got a chance to have a one-on-one. Then, you know, she lives in Harlem, and she really lives not too far from me, right? And long story, when I was working with Darren, we were in Ultrasound Studios, and I walked out. And yo, this is crazy part. I am terrible with faces. I am fucking fantastic with names.
Yeah, the other way around.
You know, and like people, that's weird to people. But I, like, you walk up to me, be like, hey, I'd be like, you'd be like, Frank, oh, Frank, yeah. What's up? You know what I mean? I'm fantastic with names. So when I saw her in the studio, we went around and she was like, Tammy Lucas. I was like, Tammy Lucas? And she was like, yeah. And then, you know, we rekindled at that point, and we've stayed in touch ever since. So, like, even right now, we're working on getting her flowers, because people really don't realize, like, who Tammy Lucas really is. And if you go online, people have called her, like, the queen of New Jack Swing.
Yeah.
You know, she started out with Teddy Riley,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But she was very instrumental in discovering Pharrell Williams and the Neptunes.
Okay.
Like, when Teddy and her moved down to Virginia, they put on talent shows. And we just did an interview last week, and she tells a story. Teddy used to put on talent shows and stuff like that. And she was a judge, Teddy was a judge, and all that. The Neptunes were in high school, Pharrell and Chad. And basically, they won the talent show.
Okay.
And it was Tammy Lucas who basically said, you know, Teddy, you need to pay attention to these guys. You need to sign these guys. And that's when Teddy started paying attention. What people don't know, Pharrell wrote Teddy's verse for Rump Shaker.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
Pharrell wrote that. He didn't produce it, but he wrote that verse. There's a whole bunch of other things that people don't know that Tammy was instrumental in. Like, her voice is
Is it good?
but no, her voice is
That's one of my favorite
also
songs of her.
her voice is also on Nori's What. That Tammy, but she also wrote. The reason why I laughed at John is because, and I told Tammy this with the song "You Got Me Open."
Right.
John's line was, you know, my eyes don't lie.
And she
And
co-signed
we used to,
it.
no, well, we used to argue all the time, because I used to say, yo, you don't really talk with your eyes. It's like your heart don't lie.
Right.
Right? And then he'd be like, nah, man, it's your eyes. And I'd be like, yo, your heart don't lie. He was like, nah, it's your eyes. So when Tammy wrote the song "Use Your Heart, Not Your Eyes" by SWV, and when that song came out, I was like, yo, bro, use your heart and not your eyes. You know what I mean? But
His eyes can lie.
yeah. And she what you call it? She also co-wrote "Joy" with Michael Jackson.
Okay.
You know, like, people don't realize, like, she is a gem in this music industry that still has a talent. I was with her last week or 2 weeks ago when we actually did this interview overseas, because now people are looking for her for interviews because she never interviewed, and everybody's like, yo, why you never put out an album? And now she's telling a story. If you go to Netflix and you pull up the show called Hip Hop Evolution,
Yeah.
they searched for her. Like, they got in contact with her because they were doing the story on Teddy Riley and the Neptunes. They searched for her because they know that she's an integral part of that story. You know what I mean? I'm telling you all this, and I'm giving her a props, because she really does deserve her flowers. Her discography is, like, it's sick.
I didn't know how vast it was.
Yeah.
And here's the last thing that I'll say about her, because I could go on for hours. When Pharrell Williams was nominated for the Oscar for Happy,
Right.
when he was doing his press tour, and even if you watch the Drink Champs that he's on with Nori,
Okay.
right? The words that come out of Pharrell Williams's mouth, the Oscar-nominated songwriter is Tammy Lucas is the one who taught me how to write songs.
Hmm.
So if you've got this guy, like, there's no reason
For him to, yeah.
but there's also no reason for her not to be still writing songs and still being in the industry and still being in the cut. You know, and like I said, don't get it twisted. She got a sneak attack. And I heard some stuff and I was like, yo, this shit is fire. You know what I mean? So working with her, I'm just talking about how Righteous Music is just like, you know, with Darian, we put out like a label, it was Righteous Music Records, and we just did that just so we could have control of what it is that we did. But Lamone, and then I'm working with another manager named Dahlia Manette, Staccato Management. We work closely with Najee,
Okay.
you know what I mean? But we also have Herb Wilborn, we've got Rashawn, who's a bass player, Aziza Miller, who used to work with Natalie Cole. She was Natalie Cole's music director. You know what I mean? And then I'm also doing another project with my man out of Texas
Okay.
and a woman out of Virginia. And we're putting together a company. We're still formulating it right now. It's my man Ray and Regina. And we're formulating the company now of like working with artists and just looking for new talent and stuff. Because the one thing I always say about this music business shit, it's like Pookie, man. Yo, call it.
Yeah. That is true.
You get what I'm saying, man?
I sat here. I mean, I basically in the latter half of my life have recreated a whole studio.
You understand?
You know, and
Because it's like crack, dude. Like this shit is.
I'm still writing stuff. I mean, I've sent you some stuff. You know.
Yeah.
And
your son, there you go. It's like you chip off the old block.
You know, he's doing this thing. He's
Oh
that's his track
shit. What's the word?
That's a
Yo.
Oh, I hear that music.
That's the Rocky. That's from Rocky.
Oh, that's from Rocky?
You Take My Heart Away. I took that sample.
Oh.
That sample.
Yo, y'all niggas shut up. Trying to hit us.
All right.
That beat is hot. You did the beat or he did the beat? Look, you ain't got skill, no.
I've gotten better.
Yeah, that shit is hot. You ain't sent me this.
Nah.
I know you didn't. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. And you're working with him. He's listening. I told Viv that I wanted to see him because I got some words for him. Now
It needs a vocalist on it, you know, I'm just saying.
That's hot.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's a chip off the old block. That's the next generation.
It's funny because I remember he came to me, I'm going to do hip hop. I was like, if you come down here and you start doing some nonsense rap, are we going to be upset?
Yeah.
But
Uncle Miles going to be upset too.
We haven't gotten back into the studio yet. We're going to get back into it soon.
Yeah, that's hot.
It's you can't leave it alone. It's forever. It's forever there.
Yeah,
till I die.
I keep getting pulled in. It's like I try to be like, I'm done with it. But like you said, it calls you. Like there's always something. Like a melody hits my head. I started writing again. I actually met this girl named Jazzy V. Shout out to Jazzy V. She's kind of like a Latin, also like Latin hip hop artist, and she gave me a bunch of songs. She's like, "Yo, I heard you write." I'm like,
it's funny because I was singing some songs because I have songs. It's weird. There was a period of time where I stopped writing, and I got better at production, but then I couldn't write to like I was so invested in trying to get better musically that I kind of shut my lyrics down. So I have these songs that I'm just like I don't know what the hell I did this, and then I kind of got back over the last 3-4 years into really writing a lot of stuff and then being able to do both. I guess I had to shut one off for a little while to kind of try to meet up, with the musical end of it. But yeah, man, it's we should write a song together. Like I said, you never know what the next manifestation of working with people is.
Bro, the market is open.
And the one thing about the music industry I learned, man, it's like everything has changed. Social media has changed. You got TikTok, you got all this thing, but one thing that's never changes, the hustle is still the same.
Yeah, you still got to hustle.
You still got to have that hustle, and that's the one thing about music that has not changed. People that want it, that the hustle is still there.
There's a million people out there doing the same thing. So the hustle is the only thing that's going to separate you.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. The hustle is the only thing that's going to separate you back in the day. And it's the only thing that's going to separate you now.
Because, it's real interesting. I'm glad y'all said that because, like, everybody is always a critic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody always is like, yo, how'd that whack motherfucker get put on?
But he was put on.
He hustled.
Yeah. Like there's people, I'm sure all of us right now can name 5 people that are like, that motherfucker is so trash. But every time the song comes on, you vibe to it.
It's funny because I've tried to stop doing that.
Yeah, I did too.
Just like I'm quick to say that that's whack, that's trash, and then I'm like, regardless of whatever it is, however he got to where it is, it took whether the talent was in the hustle, whether the talent was in the marketing, something got him to where he is.
Yeah.
So
Like I was just watching. I don't know if you guys saw it, that documentary on Showtime for Tekashi 6ix9ine.
It's incredible.
I'm like,
that kid
the
is
making of a supervillain.
He is a super.
Whether you hate him or not, but
he is a social media
genius.
And me and my son talk about that.
He knew what he was doing.
The respect, like I said, I don't respect what he did. You know what I'm saying? The whole,
you know what? Listen,
but the respect to his.
Let me just touch on that point for a second. And I'm probably gonna get some people be like, "Oh, how can you?" Listen, if you a gangster, right? If you a true criminal, and you come to me, and I'm a hip hop head, you know, and you like, look, man, I want to use you to help from what I'm doing, but I know I'm not in that life for real. If shit goes sideways,
I'm telling.
It's like,
because I feel like if I'm facing the other end of a life
who
sentence,
you dealing with, you know. And to me, when they talk about the snitching thing, if me and you do something wrong together, and we get caught, and I snitch on you, that's a snitch. If me and you do something wrong together, and then you fuck me, you try to screw me over, you gotta, you know. So it's like you gotta know who you're dealing with. If I'm in that life, I'm not going to somebody that's a civilian and putting my business in their hands, you know, and thinking that if something goes wrong, they're not gonna snitch. They're gonna snitch. They don't, you know, they fake. They're not a real dog. That's a persona. I'm real. This is what I do. I'm not gonna put my hands. I'm not gonna put my fate in the hands of somebody who's not really in that life, and then expect them to act like me when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
you know that's not.
And you can't be mad at it. It's like you knew what he was about before.
You can be mad, but I think it's a combination of the fact that he became so popular, and that people are just like like, oh, I can't stand him because, you know.
Well, you know, that's a whole nother story too, right? It's kind of like the whole hip hop thing has changed, right? You know what I mean? You know, we come from a time where, like, you know, special ed didn't really have a solid gold bone, an island of his very own and all that. He didn't really have that. He was really just, you know, rhyming, right? And now it's that if you're not living it, you can't rhyme about it. And it's like it like blurred the lines of art and reality. You know what I mean? And because that line is so blurred, you know, it's got us all fucked up. You know what I mean? And Tekashi 6ix9ine, I'm not going to talk on his, like, whatever he did, such or whatever, but when I saw the documentaries, there's a couple of them, and I think I mix them all up. What impressed me the most, and this is when, you know, keeping it real goes wrong, as they say, right, is what impressed me, what I'm noticing y'all talking about this music, and take off delay, please. Or she said take off the delay. So what impressed me about Tekashi 6ix9ine was he did whatever it took. When we talk about we want to know if an artist really wants it, right? He did whatever he took, but it was when he crossed over into that life, is what I'm talking about.
That's when shit got real.
Goes wrong. Because even in the video they said that when he linked up with the Blood Gang, right? They said that he bought everybody bandanas, right? But he didn't sport one himself in that video. You know what I mean? So he knew well enough to be like, yo, this is what's gonna sell. This is what's gonna sell.
But I'm good.
But I'm not touching that. You know what I'm saying? So whatever happened, you know, after that, like I take Tekashi up to the point where he did whatever it took to get to where he wanted to be.
And sometimes you gotta, and that's the choice you gotta make. Sometimes when it gets to that point where I'm about to cross a line, and I have to decide is if I want that enough to cross that line. And once I cross that line, whatever kind of happens after that point, you know, you have to understand that it may not go the way you think it's gonna go.
You know what that just reminded me of? You ain't a lawyer no more. You a gangster.
Yeah.
You a gangster now.
Way. Yeah.
And there's no learning that from school.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
There comes a point where you cross a line, you're not just playing a game anymore. You're not just acting. now you become that.
Mhm.
So it's crazy, man. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Negro, it's 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock, and I'm sure my daughter's gonna be like, my son gotta go to bed.
For sure, for sure.
Man, I mean,
This was awesome.
We still
Shay Jazz, you still there?
Shay, you still there?
We got to do a part 2.
Yeah.
We got to get Peter Wayne on this. We got to get Shagan a working phone.
Now, Shagan, the next time we're gonna do this again. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get an email from you, and we're gonna bring you on live wise instead of the phone, because that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
The phone, it could be just a connection from wherever he's calling from. So it works, man.
Shagan on that Boost Mobile.
Yo, but on the real, we actually should have Shagan like come here, like if he comes to Harlem, because people, right? I could bring him back home or whatever, and then for your man Dap, we could sing a song.
Yeah, we could do that, and then we could crack the bottle.
Oh, we could crack the bottle.
So
Yeah,
we gotta set up the time. We gotta set up.
Yo, that's probably gonna taste like hot dog.
But it might be probably better on the weekend.
Well, I can do. It's my show. I can do whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be better on the weekend. You feel me?
A special Saturday edition,
like a Saturday or whatever.
We can definitely do that. Shagan, you down for that?
Yo,
oh, there we go. Eddie Kane is back. Eddie Kane.
I love the dramatic pause.
Yes. And you know what I love about Shagan? Yo, what's so funny is that we're sitting here. Shagan was always the quiet one.
It still is.
And he's still the quiet one, right? He was always the quiet one. Yo, yeah, until he told us that one story. It was like, that motherfucker crazy.
You did what?
Yeah.
That'll be for the next show.
Yo, to go through the pictures the last time, man.
Yeah, we gotta see the pics. I think there was a few more you had that we probably didn't know.
Let me get this.
And then we gonna be out. That's just
yeah.
Yo, Shay, you see you on the screen?
What was wrong with
that
your
was
eyes,
gym
bro?
Night.
You know, you had a
That's when you drove back that night.
Yeah, and that's how you was looking when you was driving.
Facts.
Yep. Yo, look how young we are.
Yo, look at Miles looking like a young vampire.
Take it back a little bit.
Take it back. Do. Take it back.
John thought that you had a.
Oh, you talking about from Rick, yo.
Oh, God.
That was crazy.
To the train.
In that little small ass 2-seater car, and we'd be piled up in the back. He'd take us back to Brooklyn.
I remember
and
the
then
time.
Shay would get off at like he's like, yo, I'm going to work. I'm gonna just sleep at the job.
I remember the time Rick gave me the computer and said, put that in the car. And I walked outside and a cop car came by and he was like, you coming from the studio? I'm like, yeah. Then Rick comes out. Hey Rick, you okay? I'm like, what about us? Maybe he's holding us hostage.
Yo, but you also remember when we was at that studio and freaking we went to that Cumberland Farms and then them dudes we was like, yo, let's get back to the studio quick.
Up the block.
All the dudes that came back and then they turned back around.
Merrick, big shouts to Merrick, Long Island.
Yeah.
The hanging nigga capital of the world.
Did we say hanging nigga night?
Hanging nigga night. We went, me and Miles in Connecticut. So always in Connecticut, trying to get directions. Yeah, man. Trying to get directions. I walked into the wrong bar to ask directions.
This is Miles.
That's the second incarnation of the group. That's Andre on the right screen, right? Who brought us together. Me, and then that's Ron Anthony, and then that's my man Chris.
Wow.
Chris used to write a lot of the songs. I used to write with Chris, and Ron Anthony is still doing this thing, and Andre just taught himself. He just took bass lessons. He's a bass player now.
Nice.
Whoa, there goes Collage. Look at that. You see that, Shay?
Wow. Looking like the Count.
Yo, how
like
come y'all pictures like our picture? We got like a little podium in the middle and standing around the podium. That's that era?
We were singing the one song that I think we did. I forgot what song that we had played in the background, but we had a song played in the background for the whole photo shoot. First time we ever did that. Now this photo shoot had mad pictures. They're all gone because all the girls that used to know us, they took all the pictures. They used to, can we have that one career? We ended up like 2.
So wow. Look at that. I remember that picture.
I got hair, my brother.
I remember that picture.
And everybody out there, they're black and white. Yes, there we go.
Wow, look at Shay.
Look at
Yo,
this.
with our Carl Kanai boots on.
Yes.
Wow. That's the baby locks right there.
I hate when I show this picture and people go, "Which one's you?" I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Right. Wow. That's over at Grant's Tomb.
Grant's
That's over there
Tomb,
up in Harlem, Grant's Tomb. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
That was a powerful picture right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it.
Back to the beginning. Yeah, I got some pictures, and I'm gonna try to pull out that video too, so we can digitize it and upload it and make some money.
That's what I want.
We need to find some of our old music.
I want to find it just. I mean, y'all.
I know you got like that
Yeah,
stuff. Music is music.
We need to have this, the four of us here all together, and you know, crack that bottle, tell some more stories that we probably still haven't told,
Yeah.
and then you know, we see what we're gonna do. See if I'll turn on some music. Who knows?
Facts. Let's do it. I'm down.
You know, but
Yeah, Miles Jr., you listened to the whole 3 hours?
He's still on?
That's what's up, man. That's what's
That's
up.
love. That's definitely
That's what's
love.
up, man. That's what's up.
Definitely
Yeah,
love.
we're gonna get more of it, for real. We got stories, man. We ain't even
like
like,
get on.
We
Yo,
haven't
we
even
ain't
tapped
even
into the stuff
tapped
that me and this dude have been through.
We still have
Yo.
more stories from us, and they got stories.
We got
that's
just
incredible.
Yeah.
non-music related stories, man. Just
And
journeys.
You could even, again, you have to pick all the business and pleasure members. You can get all the members of diversity.
Yeah, man, we gotta get Peter up in this. Is Peter still on?
well, for you, like, well, Dre is down. Mark, rest in peace. He was one of the original members of For You.
Right.
Dre is down in Atlanta. You know,
We can always,
Chris is out
I
on
can
Long
get
Island.
I can get up to five. I can get up to 5 people on here.
On there? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we
So maybe we could do something like that. And maybe get Ron Anthony, because but that type of shit, man, we start getting mad, like why the group broke up and shit. Like I remember, on the real, I remember when For You first broke up, me and Chris looked at Dre like, nigga, you serious? Because Dre was like, yo, man, I'm just saying, yo, son.
That is, and they'll help me blow up my podcast by getting crazy.
Yo, it's crazy. Yo, it's
Get
crazy.
them ratings up, right?
This has been an incredible night. I knew we were going to be on for a long time, but I knew we were going to be on for 3 hours.
Yo, you got pizza? I'll take a slice, nigga. I'm hungry, yo.
You're taking a pie.
We're going to do that, but bring it down here. But we are going to call it a night.
Yes.
I'm either going to
Thank y'all for listening.
Yeah, thank
yo.
y'all for sticking it out,
For
man.
sticking out.
Listening to our-
Sheila, yo, we love you, yo. Like,
Yes,
for
Sheila.
real. Miles Jr., we love you. Yo, Nisi, you were a part of this journey as well. Like I see it says Denise Williamson David, but we called you Nisi.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, we appreciate you were part of this journey too,
Definitely, definitely.
Like all of y'all.
It's much love to everybody. We thank you. Let people know it's going to be up. So
Yeah, I know people.
take a
If
look
we
at
do
it
this again,
and we're going to do our thing. Yeah, we're gonna
Tell them to watch it in parts, yo, in snippets.
Yeah.
I'm either going to put it all together or I'm going to put it in 3 separate parts. We'll see.
That'd be dope.
We'll
That'd be
see.
dope.
We're going to edit this thing up. But I love y'all. And,
Peace, yes.
Catch a rib, y'all. Catch a rib.
catch your ribs.
Yeah, we ain't
Shake
even.
Jazz,
The
peace
heart,
and love,
the
man.
light, and the music.
Yes.
Word up.
All right, y'all. Y'all be
Good
good.
night, everybody.
Love y'all.
Yo, Lady Shay Jazz.
Later, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was dope that Shay came through, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually fucking really dope. Yo, I ain't talked to Shay and like he's one of them dudes
Is that on a Casio?
That's an old, yeah.
yeah. And like on the real, like
Oh, damn.
when Shay left the group, man, it was kind of bitter, yo. Like we was kind of pissed,
Yeah.
That's the first time I've actually heard his voice, dude.
That was spooky.